Hey guys, J-Man here for a special stream today. We're going to be ranking the Spider-Man movies from our least favorite to our favorite. And I say least favorite because I actually don't hate any of the Spider-Man movies, unlike some of the other Marvel trash movies, which I despise. I don't hate any Spider-Man movie. I actually don't even hate any Spider-Man cartoon. I don't even really hate any Spider-Man comic that I've read. Now, I haven't read them all. We have some experts on the panel who have read a lot of them, or the majority of them, or whatever. So we're going to get going right away, and I'll explain sort of the parameters. Sean's going to be late as per usual. Sean, Steve's already like, what the heck? I'm not going to do everyone's intros. We're just going to get them in because a couple of our panel members are a little bit limited on time. So I want to give everybody a chance to talk about it. So let's just bring people in. Steve, what's going on?
Hey, Sean. Hey, J-Man. Sean is a diva, man. He's a diva.
Yeah. Okay, I'm bringing in this guy next because he's got the look. He's ready to go. Hey, what's going on? Everything I did, yeah. And I couldn't find any Spider-Man gear, so I'm literally wearing my Ben Reilly hat, which is the only Spider-Man thing. And like Terrifier, and I put Texas Chainsaw as though that has anything to do with anything Spider-Man.
That would be a very interesting Spider-Man villain. That would be a very interesting movie.
So, like, yeah, Leatherface in female with female stockings.
That would need a lot of explanation.
Yeah. All right, let's bring in the comic vet, Chris. How's it going, man?
Good. Glad to be here, boys.
All right, this is going to be exciting.
There we go.
There you go.
Man.
I don't know. Yeah, I got it.
There we go.
All right, and we haven't had this person on in a while, in a long time, but it was a Spider-Man thing. So there's no one more passionate about a certain Spider-Man than this person right here, and that is Andrew. What is going on?
Miles. I swear, you can talk about Miles.
I just saw the Mario Brothers movies, and the Spider-Verse trailer looks great. Bill, what's going on, Bill?
Hey, Professor.
Doesn't hate not one Spider-Man. Jimmy never saw Spider-Man in the mirror. I don't know. I didn't hate it. Joe, we're okay. We're look. I'm talking about hating it. I'm not talking about I didn't think this was great.
Right.
Like my worst Spider-Man movie, I would still give like a 5 out of 10 in terms of my 5 out of 10 means it's a pass.
Mm-hmm.
Like by my space rating system, everything, all categories score a 1, which means that you're still getting a pass on your movie. Like I would never, I don't want to beat up other things, but like Eternals, I watch them and like, this is a piece of garbage. I hate it. It's like my weakest Spider-Man movie. I'm like, I think there's something very rewarding about seeing Spider-Man swing around and climb walls. And I don't know what it is about that, but there's just something very special. I love the 67 cartoon.
Whoa!
I met the voice actor. He's great. Canadian. Canadian. So we got our guy.
Best people are Canadians.
Sorry?
The best people are Canadians. I'm
Thank you. I approve this message.
Michael Dax. Oh, great
Trish Stratus, yeah. I thank you. No, but there's something, and I think Spider-Man has usurped everyone else because they've done something really smart, which is they've kept Spider-Man a family-oriented character in pretty much everything that he's in, which means anyone can watch Spider-Man in any time of their lives. And I have little niece and nephews. They're 3 years old. They watch the little spot with I don't know what it's called. It's called Amazing Friends.
Yeah. My nephew does that too. The one with Miles and Gwen as well. They're like a little.
When they look like actual kids.
These look like little kids. Yeah, and well, so it's Spin to have no confusion. Miles is called Spin, and Ghost Spider and Spider-Man. Yeah. And my little kids, my little niece and nephew, they're running around. They're like, I want Ghost Spider. I want Ghost Spider. All right, and my nephew said, I want Spin. And then they're like, then they both want Spider. So I had to buy 2 Spider-Mans. A Spin,
wow!
Right, so that's perfect, right? And then generational. See, this is how you get these new kids. I feel DC has dropped the ball on this because your little kids can't see the Man of Steel movie, so it's like, now they're gonna have a cartoon with Superman, but it's not even Superman. It's like his family. It's like just do Superman. Anyways, I don't want to spend time on that, but Spider-Man is really smart. The marketing, the branding, it's like everyone, even like my mom will be like, yeah, I'll watch Spider-Man. That looks like a fun movie. Perfect. So even the worst ones, the weakest ones, I'm not angry at. So I don't have any anger towards any of these Spider-Man movies.
Well, one thing you got to say about one thing we got to recognize about the franchise is that when it comes to the top 3 superheroes IP every single year, when it comes to memorabilia, paraphernalia, toys, the whole 9 yards, Spider-Man is number 1 with a bullet. Number 1, Spider-Man's number 1. Not only is he number 1, he's more than 2, 3, and 4 combined. Number 2 is always Batman, and number 3 is whatever flavor of the year either Marvel or DC is releasing.
Basically the mascot
Yeah.
of Marvel.
Yeah, whoever the hot gimmick is that particular year. But,
hey,
but again, Spider-Man is always number 1. It with miles, pun not intended, miles ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, he's basically the mascot of Marvel.
He is. He's the best. Look,
the
Spider-Man
whole
is
damn
one of the
franchise.
best. He is. Spider-Man's one of the best characters ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Ever.
easy. It's like, and he's top 5. Like Superman's my favorite. It's Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Hulk. That's your top 5 best characters for me. Easy. After that, we get Cyclops, X-Men. That's kind of like Gray Malkin and I. We like Scott Summers and all. So, but like just quick off the top of your head, name your 5 characters. Those 5 and why? Wonder Woman TV show, Batman TV show, Superman movies, Spider-Man cartoon, Hulk TV show. It's like I don't know what to tell you, right? Like that's all we can. It's like, and then even the Spider-Man live action show, I still like that too. I didn't like Captain America with Red Brown.
One?
I love Nicholas Hammond. He's great. They tried their best on that, man. They did what they could. Jameson's great in it. He's grumpy. He's got the stash. He's so
he just swings around on a rope.
I can't think of anybody who doesn't know who Spider-Man is. Like from it's Spider-Man. All right, no, I can hate Spider-Man. Everybody's felt
he's just a kid.
It's a universal. It's a universal story. The outsider story, like puberty, basically.
Right.
Puberty.
Ooh, too hot. And our AC is not on yet in the condo, so I'm taking my hat off. Here's my Ben Riley hat. I'm putting that away.
Okay.
Hey, Toby's number 1. Hey, Truth, what's going on, brother?
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about that.
And
I just want to say this right now. Tobey Maguire looks like Droopy.
What?
Dog.
Okay.
No, we're not. Oh my God, are we gonna have problems? Look, we haven't even started.
We haven't even started.
Listen.
Hey, I just wanted to get it out. Okay.
All right.
Hey,
your guy looks like Edward Cullen with that long hair.
We have so many people on. I'm gonna start dropping the links, guys. I put everyone's link is in the description of this video, plus all the videos that I ever post. I have everyone's link in there. Andrew, do you still do anything on your channel? If so,
I do stream from time to time.
Okay, so put your link in the thing, and I'll put it up. Everyone else, sure. I've got your links in here already, so please check it out if you're not subscribed. I mean, I've got, and Nerdman is begging me to come on, so I'm gonna let him. I'm letting him come on because Sean's being late, anyways. Okay, so. I tweeted, Nerdman. I sent you the link, buddies. Get in there.
This time of the year, jeez.
Okay, so now Nerdman's in the UK, I think, right? So I don't know what time it is. There we go.
It's like midnight.
Yeah,
it's like midnight. There you go, buddy.
Hey.
Okay, so hold on, Chris. It only has an hour, so we wanna make. I definitely, and he's like one of the hardcore Spider-Man guys. He put pain and hours into his half sleeve, and he has like graded copy, not just like toilet paper copies where you get like graded proper copies of most of the first 5 years of Spider-Man or something like that.
I got
look at this. Oh, hold on, let me make that full screen. Look at this. Oh my God.
That is
wow.
Cool. That is cool.
Wow. That is a grail. That's the grail.
Yeah,
right there, man. That is the
1 through 50, and then obviously everything that's been done in the last 20 years.
Hey,
that's all right, man.
That's good too.
Asking for a job, they say, "Oh, we ain't hiring." Like, "Oh, we don't make any money." No one be lying. I just showed you the Fantastic Four ain't shit. They never been shit.
What are you talking? Okay, we're not. Great. I knew this was the. I knew when you had your sunglasses on that this was gonna go south.
Oh, that issue, yeah.
No, I'm just saying that issue that he has. Like he was with the Fantastic Four. He went.
Okay, yeah. That's fine. Yeah. I like.
Yeah, because he wanted a job.
They say like, "Oh,
we needed a job." Yeah, like
trying to be poor, man.
Yeah.
He needed money.
Fantastic Four. He help his Aunt May.
Gray needs a whopping.
All right, let's get started.
Okay. So Sean will come when he comes. All right. Let me ask this question first, and this will be a spoiler for a few of our thing. Just to make it somewhat a little bit, quicker. What is there, without telling me your answer of what it is, just hand up. Is there anyone on this panel that does not think that Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man movie? Okay.
Oh, come on.
Hold on. Gray Mal. Okay, so we got 2. That's fine. For me, it is number 1. I know it's a spoiler, but for me, it's like clearly number 2. And then everything, because I'll tell you why very quickly. It transcends superhero movies into being a fantastic film for anyone to just watch and get emotionally invested in. And it's a great Spider-Man movie with all the Spider-Manism things that we like to see.
And a great character study too.
Great, right. So that is why for me that one. So whenever I review these movies, there's always 2 reviews. Is this a good film for someone to watch who just wants to watch a film? Then is this a good representation of the character that you're presenting to me?
Yeah.
So that's sometimes where people and I butt heads, where I'm like, I don't like this. I'm not saying the movies are trash. Like, right, I'm just saying I don't like the representation of this character in this movie, in my opinion. That's where we always butt heads. And I'm going to butt heads with people slightly. Well, my number 2 weakest, I have a couple of reasons that people it's something that you can't really argue because it's just a personal thing.
It's subjective.
It's subjective, yeah.
But I was going to say, I heard you talking about like who's more popular or the most popular, and you were talking about the sales of, toys and stuff like that, and I get that, but like I still think it's Batman.
But Batman's dying because this Matt Reeves movie is 3 hours of boredom. Kids can't watch it. They're never going to get to watch it.
I have no problem with your take on Batman. If you want to enjoy a 1%er running around beating up poor people, that's great.
That's exactly.
I'm just joking. Batman's number 3 on my list.
Hey, that's exactly what makes my bacon sizzle. Right. Look, the reason I brought it up from what you just said is because of exactly what you're talking about. What is the film that is most of any superhero film? Like what is the one that is most accessible to anybody? And I think it's easily The Dark Knight. Not to kids.
No, not to kids. That's what I'm saying.
Obviously, but I'm saying in terms of like people who just like film, cinema, whatever.
Sure.
I think that has been that transcended the superhero genre more than any, I think, superhero
I disagree on that.
I agree. The Dark Knight is a great film, but I don't think it's a great Batman thing. It's like Two-Face wasted and dies. It's like Joker is kind of Joker, but more like serial killer Joker. I just feel like the Batman-isms aren't there. Like I know he's in the apartment. I know in Brave and the Bold he had the apartment for a while, but it's like I want the Batcave. Like, so Dark Knight's a great movie.
The Batcave you're right. He doesn't.
He doesn't have the Batcave.
The first one.
Right. There's not enough Batman-isms in it for me to be like, wow, that's a great. It's a good
Batman Begins more. I like Batman.
I also like Batman Begins more.
But for this, I'm just saying for crossover, like
sure, I agree with that.
Mainstream,
I agree.
You can't. And yes, you could say, oh well, I think DC as a brand is dwindling, like WBDC, and I think some very good movies have been hurt by that. I don't think The Batman is a bad movie at all. I think it's a great movie, but I also think Shazam! Fury of the Gods is a great movie.
So do I, and I agree with you on one and not the other.
But these movies have been hurt by how DC has been, handled recently. But for the Batman to make $800 million within DC, as DC is being run now. Just shows his popularity, if anything. And I think,
and it made it because
people,
it's Batman's name. It's Batman's name carries a lot of weight with people.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a trash movie. I bought every whoever's on this panel, I've out-purchased you. I bought the movie, the soundtrack, all of the toys. I have the Batmobile right here. I bought all the large versions of Batman.
Dude.
It is right. I bought everything, and I still think it's like 5 out of 10. So you can see it. I've given a lot of money.
I went to see it 7 times in cinema.
Well, that's a lot. Listen, oh my gosh! A moment of silence for the time that Nerd Man has lost. Okay.
And when it comes to the Dark Knight being, I feel it's actually top 2 solo superhero movies ever made. When we start to factor in the team movies that we've got over the last 10 years, I think they outweigh that when you talk about the Infinity War and then Zack Snyder's Justice League. Those movies, just for me, are higher up than what,
those two are boring.
Than what Nolan's Dark Knight.
That's I agree with you.
Yeah, Dark Knight I like Batman Begins and Dark Knight. Both those I thought were, and the reason I like Batman Begins slightly better is because I think Dark Knight is a better film than Batman Begins, but Batman Begins is a very, very good film that is slightly a better representation of Batman for me, which is why in those 2 categories, it's a little bit up. Sean is here. All right, let's get started. Okay. Sean, do you think Spider-Man 2 is the best? Just because I asked that prior to starting.
Yes, it's the best.
Okay, fine. So we had so far. Okay, so let's start with what is the week. Let's go with Chris first. What do you think? Does everyone? Okay, is there anyone that hates any of the movies? Just really quick.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sean, you hate one of them?
I hate a few.
No, I dislike a couple of them.
Okay, no, dislike is not hate. It's not Eternals bad or She-Hulk.
Yeah, no,
right?
But when you say hate, I don't really hate any movie. I mean, I like.
Well, I hate Eternals.
It's a strong word, but
Everyone hates Eternals.
I figure you mean really dislike.
Really
I don't hate
dislike
movies. Like,
all right, there is some that I do hate. Okay,
but I really dislike a few.
Okay, let's start with. I'm going to put Chris here.
Sure.
There, and then now I can gauge better. So we'll start with you. So Chris, what's your least favorite?
With a bullet, Toby 3.
Toby 3. Yeah.
Oh, shut up!
See, look at what the hell! See, we just started. I'm putting on the Ben Reilly cap of. I'm using my Ben Reilly cap of.
My least favorite. Now the thing is, I pay a lot of respect to Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Because he was finally, after, let's be honest, almost 45 years of Spider-Man, we did not have any representation of the character on the big screen. Tobey Maguire filled in, or basically stepped up after what Leonardo DiCaprio was supposed to be.
Right.
He stepped into the role, and I thought did a great job. The first one, I can't pan the first one because that's the first time we got to see Spider-Man ever on the big screen. The second one is. We'll get into that with the Doc Ock film. It has terrific representation of the character. But the third film for me, it just hit some silly points for me. And to me, Spider-Man will say silly things, but Peter Parker is not. And in that movie, we had Peter Parker being silly and kind of bastardized, in my opinion. So, with that being said, I'm not going to say I hate it or dislike it. Of the Spider-Man films, that one's at the bottom of my list.
I got the DVD of it.
Yeah, and I don't love this thing really to even like like what you're saying. It's like I see it. I'm not.
Art, it happened backstage. You're late.
It's like like. And Andrew's very okay. Let's can we do an asterisk on Andrew? He's hyper passionate about Toby. So Andrew, I'm going to ask you to give it. Okay. It's everyone's opinion. Be good. Okay. We all like Spider-Man.
It's his Christopher Reeve.
If it's his Christopher Reeve, I know. All right, Sean, what's your weakest?
My weakest? It might be controversial, I guess.
I was supposed to be controversial on this panel, but
I'm going to say it. I'll be the one to say it. My weakest one is Into the Spider-Verse.
Bastard! Bastard!
racist.
Everyone should be offended by the fact that they feel they need to like bring in umpteen different characters to support the Miles Morales character. And in the sequel, it looks like they're quadrupling down on that. Like, give the man his own movie. Number one. Number two, crappy animation is not a style. Like,
I agree. That's my thing.
Get off my lawn.
Stuttery animation to show how novice he is and then he gets better is not a thing. It looks awful.
Wow, you just
and
blew my
the
mind.
design work in this movie, it's like goes from like regular proportions, people who look like humans, to whatever the hell they were doing with Kingpin.
Right.
It's
that was
dumb.
weird.
It's a big bag of dumb. And I think part of my anger over this movie is everyone else like saying that the bad animation is great. Oh, it's so great that it's bad. Oh, how artistic that's awful animation in this movie. I don't understand
blown.
that. That's terrible.
No,
anyway, that's my least.
Mind blown.
Okay, so hold on. It's not my least, but it's close to. I thought I was going to be controversial.
Like Sean just.
Sean came out of nowhere. I thought everyone's going to hate me. That's why I was got.
I thought I was like the comic that was like a hot take, but like that.
No. Well,
Wow.
So it's only one hot take away from mine. So, Andrew, what is your weakest one?
Well, this might be a combined thing, but I think, in my opinion, I'm going to say, I'm not going to count No Way Home, but the MCU Spider-Man movies, in my opinion, are the worst portrayal of Spider-Man.
Okay.
So
what's the worst of the? What do you think is the worst of the three?
Worst? What's the worst?
Either
I'll say No
I'm
Way
gonna say
Home.
Homecoming because it does not feel like a Spider movie. It feels like it's a Spider movie made by Disney Channel.
Okay.
'Cause
All right.
I'm not gonna knock Tom Holland. He was fine, but way too reliant on Iron Man. The tech suits I didn't like.
Right.
No mention of Uncle Ben really pissed me off because he's the mayor's hero. The only good thing about that movie was Michael Keaton as Adrian Toomes, but other than that, it was a really bad movie. I hated everything about it.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Thing, man.
So,
Nerdman, what's your weakest one?
So I'm gonna have to be the superhero Captain Sanity here. I mean, it's kind of obvious. I don't like the MCU movies either, but it is kind of obvious. It's got to be the Amazing Spider-Man. Like that.
Sorry, you cut out Amazing Spider-Man 2?
The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And
okay.
I mean, you'll find out, but I actually liked the first one quite a bit. And I thought, like, I don't know what they're quite trying to do. Are they because maybe they were trying to veer away from making it darker or whatever that they did in the first one, or making it
too much like a cop.
kind of,
I think they were trying to world build.
And it was like the tones were mishmashed between like this darky, edgier thing, and then you have this ridiculous villain in Jamie Foxx, and then you have Spider-Man. Like he's like, I'm not going to give you my blood, like to heal your uncurable disease. For no fucking reason. It was just, it didn't make any sense. Like, why would you not give your best friend the only thing that's going to save his life? And that's somehow like heroic, like him not doing that. It was absolutely preposterous. The whole plot of that film was preposterous. The only good thing was Gwen Stacy's death, which sounds weird. Which sounds weird to say, but I mean it in the best way possible. I like that actually got me emotional in the film, which was surprising given that I didn't like the film at all. So yeah, it's too bad because I think his tenure as Spider-Man was pretty good. What's his name? Andrew Garfield.
I think that might be,
and that really sullies it.
Okay, cool. Yep. Gray, what's your least favorite?
My mind has been blown like that twice, but like 3 times right now. I need a cigarette.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay, so where are you at here?
One blew your mind as well. Wow.
Blew my mind. I mean, come on, like Into the Spider-Verse. Like, geez, come on, man.
Wait, are you saying that's your weakest?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, it blew my mind. I had to rethink I had to rethink some of my
You have to
stuff.
rethink your life or whatever after that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, this is what happened.
Wait, I mean, it's a good take. I'm like, wow, it makes a lot of sense. I can see where he's coming from.
Right.
Why does the Black Spider-Man have to be animated? That's weird.
Yeah.
Right? Why
Right.
does he need
I'm-
all these other guys with him?
I'm curious. Am I one of the ones who blew your mind, or
Yes,
was
yes,
it Andrew?
blew my
Oh,
mind
I
too.
did as well.
Amazing
Wow.
Spider-
Okay.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
All right, so Gray, what's the weakest?
But if I'm gonna say the weakest, the most forgettable, I'm going with like Far From Home.
Yes.
Far From Home. Okay.
I mean, the best
Okay.
part about it was like
Mysterio.
Mysterio.
Yes.
Oh, and just the villain reveal, like, oh, whoa, this is petty. Who is giving these villains budgets? Like, it was. I didn't care about the whole MJ thing. I didn't care. Like, I was like, I'm so sick of seeing Spider-Man as a teenager.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to see him as a 30-year-old who's still trying to make rent.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Far From Home.
Far From. All right, Steve. Well, I know what your weakest is now because you lost your mind when Sean said it first. So why is it
No.
Spider-Verse?
No.
Oh, it's not Spider-Verse?
Not my weakest. No.
Oh, boom! Sean, you won. You won.
You won.
It's not my weakest either, but
Not my
okay, go ahead. All right, Steve, what's your weakest?
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Part one?
Yeah, part one.
Oh, let's do it, baby. Me too.
Wonder Twin other side.
Yeah. All right.
I don't like retelling Ben, like the origin. I already saw it. I don't like
Oh,
the changing
once.
the
Yeah, that was
costume.
Right.
They got better
Um,
actors.
I don't
though.
like how the lizard looks. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
I
where's
don't
the
like
lab
Dennis Leary
coat?
yelling at Peter Parker. for
He's
no
better
reason.
than Electro. Come on, bro. Are you
No.
serious?
Hold on.
No. Lizard. Here's the thing. Lizard is to me one of the best visual Spider-Man villains there is. But if you read him as a character, it's kind of he hates mammals. He wants reptiles to take over,
Right.
and that's why I think they changed him eventually to be more like a anti-hero-ish Jekyll and Hyde character.
Yeah.
I don't. It's just not compelling for me. I didn't like the blunted snout. He looks too much like a Goomba from Super Mario Brothers movie.
Whoa.
I just
All right, Bill.
I did not like it. I didn't like the dialogue between Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker. It felt very soap opera-ish. There was a lot I didn't like about this movie. So
Yeah. All
Amazing
right. All right. So yeah, mine is also Amazing Spider-Man 1, and I have two reasons that unfortunately cannot like you can't argue against me. I don't like his costume. I think Spider-Man's costume looks garbage. It doesn't look like Spider-Man. It looks like someone pretended they thought they were gonna do Spider-Man and do like a hot take Spider-Man. It's like it looks like he has basketball.
Yeah, looks like
It looks like it's
cosplay.
like it's bad. The costume looks
All
crap.
these basketball.
That's almost my own. That may almost be my only. But also I don't like the lizard. He doesn't look cool to me. I don't know. I'm just watching this movie. I'm like, the lizard doesn't look cool. Spider-Man doesn't look cool. I like Andrew Garfield, the person. See, like, and I'm going to defend and hot takes. I'm going to defend Amazing Spider-Man 2 with one big mega point. It's not going to be in my top 3 or 4 or anything, but I'm going to defend it a bit. Not yet when I get to it. But with part 1, he didn't look good. I don't like the lizard. I don't care about him turning everybody into lizards. Like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't care about Gwen Stacy. She died. Oh, well, who cares?
Yeah,
It's like people die.
Not in the
It's
first
like-
one.
So,
She
Not in
didn't
the
die
first-
in the first one.
oh, whenever. She didn't die. I don't care about her dying in the
Captain
second one
Stacy
either.
died in the first one.
Yeah, sorry, I don't care about Captain Stacy dying either. Even though I have that issue, I have the issue of the death of Captain Stacy. So I just don't care about that movie at all. It's my least. I don't hate the movie though. I like when he's like, kind of swinging, and people are like, yeah, and they're kind of, like that's kind of cool. So I don't hate it, but it's just my least favorite because there's nothing for me to watch to get excited about. There's other ones that have more exciting things than Amazing Spider-Man 1. I'd still give it a 5 out of 10, which is a pass by my rating system. So it's a pass, but that's about it. All right, let's go back to Chris for your number 2. So you said Spider-Man 3, right? Was your weakest, and then now your next one up.
Oh no.
Tom Holland, number 2.
Number 2, Far From Home.
Far From Home.
Oh,
Far From Home, yeah.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, the whole Night Monkey, the whole
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
over on the other
Yeah.
side of the planet, the
Yeah.
wasting of 3 excellent villains that I think we pretty much all read, where it's we want to talk about Hydra Man, or we want to
Right.
talk about Molten Man.
Right.
Yeah.
And Mysterio looked good. However, it was all fake. Like it was just tech. There was no superpower there whatsoever.
Master of
With
Illusions.
Mysterio, there was like I get they're making it modern, and I
Right.
get that. And I'm trying. And the one thing I want to make certain here to everyone on the panel and everyone that's watching, I'm not going to let nostalgia get in the way of what I enjoyed in these movies that way.
Mhm.
That's
Mm.
why my list is the way it's going to be. But to me, it was just a regurgitation of the first one. They could have separated themselves. They could have had him separate himself from Tony Stark and take that step forward
I agree.
as a character.
I
Now I
agree.
get the Russo brothers are in the first film, had their hands in it, in case you guys weren't aware, and said, no Uncle Ben's story. We're tired of origin stories being played out with
How
Spider-Man,
about
with
let's give us a
Batman,
mention?
the whole 9 yards. Let's just, Uncle Ben's gone. He just has Aunt May, and let's skip the whole origin where he gets bit by the spider. It's already happened. This is where we are.
Right.
And it worked that way with Civil War and then into his own first solo movie. But the second one was just a carbon copy of the first one, still struggling with his own identity, still struggling without a father figure. We've been through that. He took on Captain America in Civil War. He made his presence felt in the first Spider-Man movie. He doesn't need that father figure. He doesn't need to turn to Tony Stark and say, "Did I do a good job?" And that's the part where I thought it was weak. It was just weak script writing,
It
weak
seems like-
storytelling that way.
Can
Now,
I
the
ask-
performance and special effects were great, but to me, that's why it's second from the bottom for me.
It seems like every time he takes a step
Yeah.
forward, he takes one step back.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to argue too much. I think this is going to be somewhat low on most people's lists for
Yeah.
pretty much the reasons that you've said.
Can I
Sean,
ask a question about Mysterio? Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan. I thought his powers were technological in the comics. He has some tech that
Yeah.
Special effects, man.
some
Special
cube or
Special effects,
something.
Special effects.
he was a
Yeah,
special
like-
effects artist or whatever, and a stuntman.
Right.
And he,
And a
yeah,
magician and the whole
Yeah.
9 yards and that.
Yeah.
But they didn't play into that. It was just him relying on a team to make the special effects work, or the illusions. per
Oh
se.
right,
And
you
to
had
me,
a
it
problem
was
with it not
to me he should
being
have been
just him.
solo. The
Yeah.
way that
Right,
he's
okay.
like he's the whole reason why Old Man Logan became a comic
right.
book,
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Man,
Okay, Sean, what's your second? So you dropped the big one. I'll be dropping it on my turn. But so Spider-Verse, what is better than Spider-Verse? What's your next one, Sean?
My second worst is Far From Home as well.
Yeah. So
Hey,
pretty much same
It's gonna be
reasons.
low on a lot of people. Listen,
It's
first
gonna
of
be
all,
low.
I think Andrew's.
Oh, you're cutting out, Sean.
Pardon?
Disney's got a hold of the stream.
Yeah,
Am I back or no?
you're
Yeah,
back.
you're back.
All right. Yeah, the Tom Holland Spider-Man's the worst Spider-Man of live action. It really is, because it's not recognizable as the character.
I agree.
And
Basically,
I
Iron
think
Man
the killer
Jr..
for this is all the hijinks and stuff. Like, how is being photographed with your pants down a Spider-Man situation?
Yeah.
Like, how is
it's
launching a
stupid.
nuclear strike on a school bus a Spider-Man thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
oops.
How
It's
does
so
giving
stupid.
how does giving
all of it's
glasses to a
dumb.
guy you knew for 3
Yeah.
days a Spider-Man thing?
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like the Mysterio stuff was probably.
You're cutting out. The Mysterio stuff looked cool visually. Is that what you're gonna say? And then, but his character wasn't.
Yeah, there's that whole scene where like he's trapped Spider-Man in a sort of Mysterio hell, and that was neat.
Yeah,
I love
the
Molten
illusion
Man
scenes, yeah.
and Hydra Man, all those characters from the comics. They're wasted here. And yeah, but the killer really is the teen angst stuff. I really I don't get it. It's trying to be like a John Hughes movie by people that never saw those movies.
John
It's
Hughes
still-
movie,
it's
Here's
right?
a
Different
Spider-Man movie,
generation.
not John Hughes movie.
Yeah, I agree. Andrew, what's your second worst?
Well,
I guess
Well,
Far
he's
From
number-
Home, since you were already.
he's
Already-
number 2. I'm gonna make my
Already
1,
there.
but my number 2 is the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Oh,
Yeah, the Amazing Spider-Man 2
okay.
it's just really trash. The pacing, the story was a mess. The villains were terrible. Jamie Foxx felt like just a rip-off of Jim Carrey from Batman Forever.
right.
I prefer James Franco as Harry Osborn. And other than some good web slinging and good costume, the whole film was a giant mess and deserves to be low.
Okay. Nerdman, second worst.
It's got to be what is that film called? It's called Far
Mis-
From Home. Yeah,
Far From
Just
Home.
the Mysterio version.
is
Yeah,
that Mysterio Far From Home?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just absolutely a disaster for in terms of a movie for me. The plot is just, I mean, just on base. I'm supposed to believe that the smartest guy in the world gives a teenager basically
I just
fucking
said that.
basically
Whatever, you
nuclear
can swear.
weapons. Oh, I can. Okay, sorry. I thought there was some channel.
Kappa protection.
But he gives basically nuclear weapons times 1,000,000 to like
Right.
a 16-year-old kid.
Well,
It's stupid. I know it's stupid.
I mean, I know he gets down like that. I've seen what he did like with Ultron. So I guess, and then that kid decides to give like somebody they've known for like 3 days like this weapon
Right.
that was trusted only specifically to him because and as he said, the whole thing, it's just like I'm not a huge fan of Spider-Man, but I know him enough to know that he doesn't need like to be getting acknowledgement from Iron Man. When did this come up? When did
Yeah,
this?
like
When
that.
was this part of
Yeah.
Spider-Man's lore? It just makes him weak and feel like some kind of fanboy or something. And for all the things they say, and I'm going to be a DC fanboy here a bit, but like for all the things they say about Shazam, right? Like this Shazam
Right.
series, I feel like that character does stupid things that a kid would do.
Right.
Whereas he's doing stupid things that I don't think anybody, especially as supposedly a genius,
Right.
would-
It's not.
would-
It's
would
not in
do.
the character. Yeah.
You read my mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me. I think.
All
Not
right.
good.
Gray, what's your second worst?
Second worst, I'm going with Homecoming.
Okay. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
No, hear me out.
Yeah.
All right, it was just weak. I like Marissa Tomei, I like Michael Keaton, and that's cool. But we're just getting like, we've seen this before. We've seen this a couple of times before. I mean, the whole, and then plus they got the all the dates wrong. Like they did the cleanup. They were
Oh, you mean
explaining.
the
Tommy?
10 years later thing?
Yeah,
right.
that was all like that. Just kind of took me out of him. Like, come on, man.
It
Right.
feels like John
Yeah,
Watts
it's
doesn't know what Spider-Man's about.
No, but like they have the years. I'm a stickler for that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's just like, it's not bad, but it's like I'm not rushing to see it.
Okay.
Also, the whole thing. Yeah. Also, the whole thing with Iron Man. Like, he was a grown man. When this whole thing started because of Civil War,
Right.
the comic book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Steve, second worst.
Into the Spider-Verse.
We're the same.
Oh!
Same again. In the Spider-Verse. Okay, so why is it?
Well, I never was a Miles Morales guy. I don't
Yeah.
care about the character. He's not my
Racist.
Spider-Man. Like he came in after I was really. I'm a Peter Parker guy, and I don't really care about
Same
Miles
here.
Morales. I don't care about Spider-Gwen. Spider-Man Noir looks cool, but
Yeah, don't care.
again, I'm a Peter Parker guy, and you
Well, Peter B.
presented-
Parker was in it.
Right.
and you presented a fat, depressed
Right.
Peter Parker.
No.
Yep.
We also got the Chris Pine one. You also got the Chris Pine one, who was great.
And yet he
Sure.
died.
But
Sure.
my
That
Peter
was-
Parker.
But as a
that's not our
movie,
Peter Parker.
At
Though.
the-
That's
at the beginning-
That's Ultimate Spider-Man that died.
Yeah. That
What
was
is Ultimate Spider-Man blonde?
that was the ultimate because that is
That's
the ultimate
Ultimate
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man,
though.
though.
That is the ultimate
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
That's
But
on
are you
6 months
saying
back.
He
this
died
could
at the
be-
hands of the Green
Hold on.
Goblin, not the King.
All right. Hold
that
on.
wasn't
Yeah,
that wasn't
Steve,
6 months
okay,
of
hold
Green
on.
Goblin either.
Yeah.
So
Steve,
here's,
continue.
here's the thing. Anyone who's read and Chris Novus, the early editions of Spider-Man, he was depressed a lot of the time. Betty Brant, he did not. She hated Spider-Man. She thought that Spider-Man killed her brother. And he was very depressed. Every comic, and Sean knows this because I said to him, like, every comic ends with him saying, "Oh man, this is a curse, man. Like I'm Spider-Man. I don't," and it gets grating after a while, and I don't want depressed Spider-Man. It's sort of, I understood it, but I didn't care for it that much in the comics. I don't care about the movie. Other than that, same thing that Sean said. I didn't like the designs of the Kingpin in that. Some of the characters, it was weird. And I literally thought there was a problem with the projector.
I was with you and Sean.
Yeah, I thought there was literally like it was skipping frames. Like, it's a problem.
Okay, at least now we're getting film criticism.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I get you don't like the character, but like, I mean,
but we're just doing
I don't really like Spider-Man at all, and I'll still say Spider-Man 2 is one of the best comic book movies ever.
And that plays to the strengths of Spider-Man 2 because it was so well done that even non-Spider-Man fans like it. But we're just doing our favorites, so you can have any reason you want, right?
So
we're not analyzing them.
Yeah, and it's just the film. Like it became a uncomfortable viewing experience for me. It took me out of the movie, and I kept watching the animation, and that's it. So that's why it's my second least favorite.
Yeah, it's mine too. Same thing. I sat there. I'm like, what's going on? Something's wrong with this. I was like, oh shit. And my theater, sometimes it's the same thing we always go to. There's been a couple, and Sean's laughing. There's a couple of times, and Sean, you went to get up. Remember, you're going to go get up, and that other guy got up for Ant-Man or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's going on? Why is this blurry here? Anyways, and I'm like watching the Spider-Man, like, why does this look so shitty? And I thought, is something wrong? And I'm like, oh my God, is it supposed to be like this? Like, this sucks. And that's it. That was almost like, I'm out of this movie. I've watched it at home a few times now on I have a 65-inch 4K copy, whatever. I watched it at home. It does play better. And I think they may have cleaned up the animation. I'm not sure if they cleaned it up for home release. It does look better. My thing is that, proper Peter is fat and a loser. And I'm like, wait a minute, this sucks. And then I started to think, why didn't they just have Miles Morales on his own? Like, when Blonde Peter, Ultimates Peter died, and then Miles takes over, I was like, okay, just do that story. Just do that whole story. And then in part 2, you could do a thing where it's like, oh, let's have the multiverse guys come in, and then it's like fucking, Ben Reilly comes in, and 2099 and Ben Reilly are my two favorite non-Peter Spider-Mans. Like, get those guys in. 2099's in this one, and I like the voice. It's what's his face though.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, so he's good. Anyways, but yeah, I'm like, you brought these other Spider-Man in. I'm like, well, what is this movie? Is it about Miles Morales? Because it seems like there's a lot of other guys. I'm like, I don't care about Gwen either. And I don't actually care about Miles, but I wanted to care about him because the beginning was set up like the first, 20 minutes was pretty neat. Like he shows with his family, and he's like a nerdy kid. I'm like, okay, and I'm getting into this Miles guy. And then Peter shows up. I'm like, okay, Peter's cool. And then all these people are there. We're this big spider team. I'm like, it kind of weakened Miles. But I don't hate it. I've seen it a few times. We're going to see across the whatever it's called. We're going to see it in theaters opening day or whatever. I don't know. I don't really care about Miles Morales after that movie because this was my first exposure to him. Like, he was okay. I liked him in the beginning, and I just kind of been like, oh, Spider-Man Noir looks cooler, so I'll root for him.
So basically, you're saying having all these other versions stole the spotlight away from him?
I think so, because I ended up saying Spider-Man Noir is the coolest, and Prowler. My two favorite characters. My favorite character was the Prowler in that movie. I bought the Funko Pop and the toy and everything. All right, Chris, go for it.
The one thing I can say, because I haven't mentioned Spider-Verse yet, I'm not going to say anything about it. But when it comes to current Spider-Man titles right now that's being published by Marvel Comics, Miles is light years ahead of everything else when it comes to storytelling. ASM, The Amazing Spider-Man, is weak storytelling. It was terrible in the last volume. It hasn't gotten much better under Zeb Wells. Miles Morales, especially Empire of the Spider, which was out early last year, was fantastic storytelling.
Yeah.
But okay, so my next one. So first was Spider-Man 3, then Far From Home. Now, my favorite Spider-Man is Andrew Garfield. However, The Amazing Spider-Man checks in at third worst for me. Again, Peter Parker with a skateboard, to me, Andrew Garfield to me is the best actor that's ever put on the suit. He's been nominated many times for Oscars. I'm not going to come forward and say he's the best but he's my favorite, and he's also accomplished outside of the Spider-Man franchise. But his Spider-Man, I feel, is my favorite. However, his Peter Parker is not. And I really think Mark Webb, who was at the helm for both of these movies, got Peter Parker wrong, but got Spider-Man right.
Right.
Now,
I agree.
The one thing I can say about every Spider-Man movie, there's always that one scene that's truly unforgettable. Every Spider-Man movie, doesn't matter.
You talking about the knife scene? It's not.
1 second, Andrew.
No.
Wait.
The one thing I can't say, every Spider-Man movie, whether it's Tom, Andrew, or Toby, they all have that one incredible moment from each one. For me, it was the realization that New York finally had themselves a superhero, and all the cranes turned properly.
Yes, that was awesome.
For a busted up Spider-Man to web sling properly to go and defeat the Lizard. That was the scene that I thought was sealed it for me, for Andrew Garfield, that the city has embraced his take on Spider-Man. But again, overall, Mark Webb may have been a good director, but may not have been the one to be the showrunner for both Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2. But I'm going to go with Amazing Spider-Man, my third worst position, or sixth overall, because there's seventh overall, because there's 9 Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Right. I agree.
I agree with that.
Because Chris is going to be leaving in about 15. I want to say, Chris, this is my argument for why Amazing Spider-Man 2, because his costume, his look, the mannerisms, the talking, when the kid is there at the end, when he's like, oh, Spider-Man, he's there with the kid. Everything that Andrew Garfield does in the form of Spider-Man with the costume is fucking 10 out of 10. Like,
I disagree.
Andrew, hold on. There's no disagreeing. This is a fact. No, I know I said it was opinions, but that was a lie. This is a fact. He is Spider. I can't explain this enough.
Yeah,
he is Spider-Man.
This guy's Spider-Man.
No, Tobey Maguire is awesome, and his films, the majority of his films are better. But Andrew Garfield in that costume of Spider-Man 2, I'm in theaters like, wow, this is like the real Spider-Man coming to life on the screen.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Andrew Garfield, I was like, this guy is crazy. But Spider-Man 2 has other problems. But Andrew Garfield's performance in the costume
is definitely
is not one of them.
Yeah.
No.
The one thing I think we can all agree on is rarely do you hear people say Andrew Garfield was a terrible Spider-Man.
Right.
No, I hear it, and I agree with.
Okay, let's go to Sean.
Put some dirt in your eye.
All right. Okay, Sean, go for it.
Am I?
You're the third least now. Oh, you're frozen, but we hear you.
I don't hear him anymore.
We'll come back to Sean. Andrew, what's your third?
Wait, I thought I said my second.
Yeah, what's your third worst?
Oh, my third worst is, like everyone else said before, Far From Home.
Far From Home.
I mean, aside from Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal, who I thought was a good actor, the rest of the movie was just a snooze fest. I mean, he literally gives this $1 billion glasses to a guy he only knew for 3 days just because he didn't want me to be Iron Man.
If he knew me for 3 days, he would have given it to me. I'm a nice guy.
And he has daddy issues.
And also,
both of them.
I didn't like the fight scene because it was too CGI fast. Like I actually like real fight scenes where you actually see practical stunts, like what these films did. Right. And
wow.
Excuse me.
Wait, is your favorite Tobey Maguire?
No, I'm sorry.
Let him finish. Okay, so was that the 3 Holland movies that you plugged in? Or no.
Oh, no, I said my 1 was Homecoming, my 2 was TASM 2, and my 3rd was Far From Home.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, so when we get back to Chris, you can just finish off your whole list.
Sure.
I'm
Nerdman.
So from now on, I think the Spider-Man movies are okay. So this one still I would give like maybe a 6 out of 10, maybe 6.5 being generous. And no, 6. This is what is the first one of
Homecoming.
Homecoming. I just don't have any interest in that film unless Michael Keaton's in the scene.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's the only entertaining. That's why the third act's good, because it's like the Michael Keaton show.
Right.
But the first two acts, his relationship with this girl
It's boring.
doesn't show up
It is
again.
best.
This attempt that, like what's the director's name again?
John
You mentioned
Watts.
John Hughes. Is
John
it John? No,
John Watts.
John Hughes is the director they're trying to imitate.
They're trying to, they're trying to.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm saying. I'm saying that they're trying to imitate John Hughes. You mentioned the director earlier. That's
Yeah,
why I
yeah,
meant
that's
John
right.
Hughes.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
It's a very, very poor attempt. I mean, anybody who thinks that's like a John Hughes movie, just go and watch movies. I don't know
Right.
what else to say to you, but yeah, it's fine. I mean, as I said, Michael Keaton holds it up enough for it to be possible,
Yeah, and
but I don't think it gets much past that.
yeah, in the word of
All right.
High Top Films, it's a bad Spider-Man movie.
Oh, private chat. Sean had to. Okay, so he's gonna rejoin. All right, Gray. What's your third worst?
Third worst. I'm going with Spider-Man 3
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
there's so much potential in it.
Right.
Because, all right, this is just me. At the time, Spider-Man was coming out, and then a month later, we were going to get Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. I
Right.
thought this would have been amazing if they connected those two movies.
Right.
Like
That's
instead of
dumb.
going to Doc Connors, he goes to Reed Richards. Instead of Harry Osborn helping him, you get the Human Torch. Show that he has other friends.
Right.
It was, and plus, it was. It
We don't
was
need
too-
everything to be
It
connected.
was the Batman Forever of Spider-Man movies.
You
Right.
take
Oh,
that
by the
back.
way, I'm
You take
guessing
that back.
the Venom movies aren't included in any.
No.
No,
No, no.
I don't even like those movies. Oh, and Spider-Man's not in them, so I still like everything Spider-Man's. I don't care about the Venom movies; they suck.
But yeah, I'm going with.
I still
Spider-Man
bought them on
3.
4K though. But anyways, okay, yeah. So Spider. Okay, cool. Steve, what's your third worst?
Far From Home.
We're the same. Did you
No.
put? Oh
I
my
didn't
God,
actually
text me
hear
my
it.
list
I didn't
last
actually
week.
hear it. No, it's Far
Clone
From
you,
Home.
J-Man.
We did not talk about this.
No, we did not talk it out.
He sins and
Um,
sinistered you.
No, it's pretty straightforward. The first hour feels like it's a CW teen drama.
Right.
Spider-Man does not show up. I
Right.
don't consider the Night Monkey Spider-Man.
Nope.
Night Monkey. Why do you keep going? Why do you keep doing him like that? Night Monkey.
Yeah,
That's what he's called.
yeah.
Oh, is that what it's actually called? Night
That's
Monkey?
what it's actually
Right.
called.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It's brutal.
Well, it looks like all of us in this group have all agreed that no one likes Tom Holland.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Dawson's
no,
Creek.
yeah.
Dawson's.
It's bad. Mysterio is undeniably awesome, but by the end, it feels like a TV movie. And I feel like I've gone through this journey, and it wasn't worth it.
Right.
I don't think I got anything out of it. And J. Jonah Jameson showing up at the end was great, and he's like, "Oh, Peter Parker's Spider-Man." I'm like,
Yeah, the
why
girl
would that
J.K.
happen?
Simmons.
I was just through the entire movie. I'm like, can it just end already? So it's Far From Home for me.
Yeah, mine's also Far From Home. Look, Mysterio is my second favorite Spider-Man villain, and it pained me because Jake Gyllenhaal's a great actor. Watch Nightcrawler; that's an awesome movie.
Yeah,
Great, super top tier. When they're look, my favorite characters are like Vulture's my favorite. Michael Keaton got cast as Vulture. I'm like, this is the greatest day ever. Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. That's my second favorite Spider-Man villain. Wow, this is like I'm getting all these A actors who are my guys. And then I'm like, why you got to do me like this? It's like Mysterio sucks. He's awesome, but his movie sucked. The first hour, I'm like, is Mysterio? What movie is this? Is he in this movie? What's
Am I
going on?
watching Road Trip?
And they're like, they're on a bus or something. Like, what? It's like, oh, there's a missile strike. What? Oh my God! It's like, and his pants are down. It's like, oh my God, no. The Mysterio parts are 10 out of 10. Unfortunately, they're too few.
Right. It's
There's
Michael
just too
Keaton.
few. It's just like and this one Far From Home will be ranked higher because Michael Keaton is on fire in that movie. But anyway, that's it. Sean, we'll get to your third in a second. Let's do Chris because he's got to go in a few minutes. So Chris,
Homecoming, I meant. Sorry.
yeah. So Chris, do the rest of your list so we have it before you got to go.
Okay, so let's 1, 2,
So you did. You're on your
so
fourth.
number 6.
So 6.
Careful,
Yeah.
Chris. You're on my good side. Come on.
6 for me is Homecoming.
Yeah.
Again, I think the whole idea of it was good. A little too much Iron Man, not enough Spider-Man. I don't mind Tom Holland. I find Tom Holland is that middle balance between the two other actors that were for him previously. However, the way that their most recent Tom Holland film ended gives me a lot of hope.
Yes!
Now for
Not
the
for
new
me.
trilogy
Not
that
for
could
me.
happen. No more father figure. No one knows who Spider-Man is. We'll get into
Oh my
that.
God, here.
Right.
Next one up is The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is middle of the pack for me, but however, I feel has the best moment ever filmed in a Spider-Man movie, and that is the death of Gwen Stacy. Andrew Garfield showed his chops. That whole scene of trying to catch her with his webbing, even though it was aside from the Brooklyn Bridge, how it was in the Spider-Man comics, her falling through a clock tower to me was fine. I get Hollywood has to be Hollywood.
Right.
And it was frightening. I thought okay, he's going to catch her, right? They're gonna change it up a little bit. He's going to catch her, and then it's just that nanosecond too late, and she bumps her head, and that's it. And then you get to see the pain. You actually can feel after they filmed that scene, she was removed from the filming altogether, and Andrew Garfield, and they were dating at the time, he was absent from her that entire time. So the seasons changing and him visiting her gravesite and going through life, and New York City being without their superhero.
I didn't cry once for that.
Andrew, I'm going to remove you. I'm going to remove you.
That being
I'm
done,
only
and then
joking.
his return, taking on the Rhino. I thought, okay, we could have a special Spider-Man movie coming. However, Mark Webb tried to cram too much
And good
world
thing we
building into
didn't.
one movie, and it turned out the way it was.
Yeah, and Chris, 1 second. I just want to say that when I say I didn't care about Gwen Stacy, I didn't mean I didn't care about her dying. I said that wrong. I did care about her dying in part 2. I didn't care about her character in part 1.
Mhm.
That's what I meant to say. Go ahead.
Okay, so after Homecoming, after ASM, the next one up for me is, Spider-Man, the first Tobey Maguire
First
movie.
Toby. Yep.
Now, I can't really sit here and say anything bad about it. I can't, because it was the first time, like I mentioned earlier, the fact we have a live-action Spider-Man on the big screen. I wasn't a big fan of the robotic look of the Green Goblin. However,
It made sense.
However, it made sense if it played into the whole military aspect that he was going to be a militarized weapon, the whole 9 yards. I get that. And he took the serum and it changed him. And again, Willem Dafoe, I thought his performance helped carry that movie to the next level that it needed to be.
The dude's freaking scary.
Yeah, excellent actor. After this, so this is now my top 3.
Top 3.
Checking at number 3 is Across the Spider-Verse. Has no one mentioned that this is an Oscar-winning movie? I get, then this is a part where I'm going to, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to let nostalgia play into this. I get that this is not the 616. This is Miles' universe. And they played up that, and I get everyone, I've heard a couple of people say, oh, Spider-Man was overweight, he had a gut. Well, so do I. I'm in my 40s. You got to realize Peter Parker from 616 that went across the Spider-Verse was in his 40s as well. And that he just went through a breakup. His marriage ended. And I'm sorry, guys, when you get out of a relationship, if you weren't expecting it, you're going to turn to different things for comfort. And that Peter Parker turned to hamburgers, much like myself. So I'm a little relatable. And I get some people don't like the animation style, and I'm not going to say anything about that, but I enjoyed it. For me, myself, I liked it. It was a fresh take. The whole Kingpin thing, I thought it was an excellent homage to Bill Sienkiewicz's take on the Kingpin back in the 80s. That was the one thing where they went away from the Ultimate universe, whereas they made the Kingpin look more like Sienkiewicz's take on the Kingpin. I thought he was the perfect villain for that. I really enjoyed the fact that they used the ultimate villains for that movie, and they kept the 616 away from it. So I'm hoping now with the sequel and then part 2 of the sequel. Go ahead, my man.
No, I just wanted to mention one thing, and I
Yeah.
really love the way he contrasted with the Daredevil TV show version of Kingpin, because it showed how adaptable the character is and how
Mhm.
many different ways you can take him.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they had that in mind with how iconic that performance was in Daredevil.
Cool.
But anyway,
All right, top two.
Top two. This is probably everyone's going to boo me, but number 2 is Spider-Man 2.
Right.
Again, I agree with everyone saying that that this is a superhero movie second and a great movie first. The whole Dr. Octopus thing, I really enjoyed in this. The fact that they stepped away from the whole Green Goblin thing. I get that the Green Goblin is Spider-Man's Joker, like how he is to Batman. But this was an excellent film. I just don't like the fact they killed Dr. Octopus off. That's just my one small thing from this. And yes, they killed the Green Goblin as well. You're right. But the Green Goblin has had different iterations. But Dr. Octopus has always been there all the way through. And that was just my thing. And I like the fact that they made him a little bit different, that everything he was doing was for love, and that he was Dr. Octopus. Everything he was doing for love. Right. And that his whole thing that he was, and then the one small thing went wrong, and it was more than enough to drive a man insane. It was just excellent.
We're controlling him.
But number 1 is No Way Home. And
awesome.
now I'm hoping No Way Home is in most of your top 3 lists. I will be checking it all out. But now I know a good friend of mine says it's just a fan service movie, Chris. For me, most of it was fan service. But when Andrew Garfield showed up, I can remember grabbing my woman's hand like, oh, yes. And then Tobey Maguire showed up. Yes. But when Aunt May died, that was the curveball I didn't see coming. They went, again, they got themselves another fantastic actress to play a character in a Spider-Man movie, but they killed her off. And I thought, what are they doing here? Then after that, everything collapsed around this Peter Parker, and that's what I wanted to see. Finally, Tom Holland's character is going to struggle.
Yes.
Going to finally struggle, and they stripped him right down to the bare bones. No longer has a girlfriend, no longer has a best friend, has absolutely nothing. In fact, in that box, when he walked into his own apartment, he was studying to get a GED because his high school career was already, all that was scrapped as well. And then that glorious scene with that brand new suit at night, I thought it was fantastic. And I hope moving forward that we have a brand new Spider-Man aside from all the Disney bullcrap, which I probably know is not going to happen. However, time to give us some new villains. Spider-Man has, along with Batman, one of the most extensive and large rogue galleries that everyone respects. It's time to step away from all these characters we've had before, villains, and bring us someone new. That's the only thing that's going to save Tom Holland, in my opinion, as a Spider-Man. And the fact that now he no longer has to deal with that father figure stuff, all that crap that Disney threw at him to make him MCU relevant.
Yeah,
that's all gone. Let's move forward with the stripped down Spider-Man where no one knows who he is. Could be black, could be white, could be Asian, doesn't matter. It's Spider-Man in the suit, like Stan Lee said. Once that suit's down, no one knows who's behind it, and that's something I'm looking forward to this time.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we're very close. Like Steve and I are close on our bottoms, and we're very close on our tops in the way we're thinking. I'm with you on that. I'm not. No Way Home's not my number 1, but
mine's not either.
But it is definitely up there. And look, we'll talk about the fan service because I know.
I hope you're here for my ranking. No Way Home.
Sean, Jay, Ray, it's nice to see you guys. Steve, you as well. Andrew, Nerdman, nice to meet you guys. Jay, again, thank you for inviting me on this panel. This has been so much fun. Sorry, I have to step away though, guys. Everyone, have a nice evening. Take care, guys.
Take care, Chris.
How fun is it to talk about the franchise, right?
I know, it's so cool.
Exactly.
All right, see you later.
Brothers.
All
right, so Sean didn't get to do his number 3. So let's do your third worst, and then we'll go back. So Sean, do your third worst, do your fourth worst, and then we'll continue up.
Matrix.
Really? What happened? I can
okay.
see you and I can see I'm moving, but am I back or no?
Yeah, you're back, but you look like Into the Spider-Verse, which everyone on this panel is saying looks bad. But everyone earlier said Spider-Verse was great. So I don't know why they're saying that looks bad since they like this.
Like, oh,
No, we
That
couldn't
looks like it's on the
hear
Sega Saturn.
you. We couldn't hear you for a second. Though.
okay, so you can hear me now, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. Number
Okay.
third worst.
So Amazing Spider-Man 2 is my third. And I guess I'll do the fourth worst, the Amazing Spider-Man. So
Okay.
I mean that's a normal ranking right there. I mean, 2, I want to say it's cool, and then you watch it, and it's like it's a bag of trash. But as you said, J-Man, Spider-Man himself, the characterization of him and his mannerisms and what he does, it's bang on. And the soundtrack for it, he finally got a theme, and then they scrapped it. So, an Amazing
Wait, which
Spider-Man is
Which one
like
was that one?
it's
Amazing Spider-Man. He said they finally gave him a proper theme, and then they don't use the theme anymore, right? Like
So he
now
said
they-
Amazing Spider-Man, and then
Oh, I think he said Amazing Spider-Man 2,
Amazing
then
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 1. So 1 is better than 2.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so Amazing Spider-Man, it's just ho-hum. And the villain is kind of crap. And I don't like that Peter Parker puts his name on the
Yeah.
corner.
I know, it's so
just
stupid.
So yeah, those two, my what is it, like third and fourth, the worst.
Okay, so Andrew, what's your like I guess sixth best? Or, yeah.
We're going the best now.
Well,
No,
no, I mean keep going down. Okay,
We're
so your
going
fourth
worst.
worst.
You're going up,
Well,
Andrew.
since I said Far From Home was my next one, my next one, of course, I think is TASM 1. It has good moments. I like Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy, but I don't like the costume. I agree with Jay, man. The Lizard was not as memorable. I wish we got the Kirk Connors from the Raimi films to be the Lizard. And there were some cool parts, but it's not as memorable to me. Then after that,
No, that's fine. That's
Fine.
That's okay. That's
where
fine.
we're stopping right now.
We're just catching up with Sean. That's why. Okay, so you're good. Nerdman, what's your fourth worst?
Let me just make sure of this. And Captain America's Civil War doesn't count, obviously.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That was a cameo at best.
So
What?
then it's Spider-Man No Way From Home.
No way. Yeah, no way home.
No
okay,
Way
so
Home.
that's with all the three of them in it at the end.
I think the wool has been pulled over your eyes, man. Like that is pure fucking nostalgia bait. The way they
They brought my boy
even
Toby back.
introduced
How could that not be good?
the way they introduced Toby and Andrew in that movie was ridiculous. The
Someone
jokes
called
were
it a
unfunny. The joke of how he was introduced, it was anticlimactic and unfunny. The premise of how they even get into this world was ridiculous and full of plot holes, considering what's his name, Jamie Foxx Electro didn't even know Peter Parker was Spider-Man. Venom jumps into this thing and he doesn't even know Spider-Man or Peter Parker. None of the emotional beats for me track because I don't know this Aunt May. The only reason I'll
Me
have any
neither.
emotional connection is because of previous Aunt Mays. There was the other thing with the MIT, them getting in MIT or not, and it's like, oh, we're gonna let you in MIT anyway. So what's the point of doing all of this crap like that you've done? Like, or sorry, that came after. But then he later on he goes, oh well, I'm ruining their life, so I've got to leave now because they nearly didn't get into MIT. Well, they got in, didn't they? And you've made everyone. It's the only good bit about that is the last 5 minutes, and none of that is, I don't think I think they did that specifically because of the criticisms Tom Holland was getting. None of that was earned in the movie. That last 5
Well, you
minutes.
will admit Willem Dafoe was scary.
He was
He was
all right
cool.
in the movie. I mean, he was fine. I didn't like the costume. I thought it was a little bit weak.
He should have kept the Power Ranger mask from the first.
You should.
one.
Well, if he had the
Sure.
helmet and the hood, that would have been cool.
I'll tell you one thing: the villains got the memo because the villains actually act acted like they were one-to-one
in their
in their own universe franchise. The three Spider-Men, on the other hand, apart from Tom Holland, who, funnily enough, was the best
Hold on.
Spider-Man in this movie. I'm sorry. I like Toby and I like Andrew more than him. But in terms of performance, it was Tom Holland that was by far the best. And it's because they didn't act like they were in their own franchise.
No, you're wrong, man.
They acted differently.
It's his
Oh,
opinion. He
okay,
can't be wrong.
Andrew.
Just the last thing. They didn't have a good enough writing to pull off Andrew's Spider-Man, for instance, because he's genuinely funny.
No.
And they didn't have a funny writer to write
You
comedic
tell me you
lines
didn't
for
like-
him to actually do.
You tell me you didn't like the little reunion between Toby and Octavius? I love that.
Hello, we got
It's me.
Mark from
Mario.
Legion Comics, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I wasn't sure of your name because you always come as a Legion, but I thought it was Mark, so I'm
Oh,
glad.
yeah,
with
that's
this.
old from where I was resetting up stuff where I cleared out my cache and history. I don't even think about what's there anymore. I forgot that that's even said it's me.
Oh, okay. I was like, it's me.
But hey,
All right.
it's accurate. It's still accurate. It's me.
It is you. Okay, so when we get to mine, I'll go back to you, and then you can catch up to us.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll do it that way. So let's go. Okay, so Gray, your fourth worst.
I'm going with Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
I mean, like, it wasn't bad. It's just you guys really said a lot of the reasons.
Right.
It was all that potential gone because they were setting up for the next one.
Right.
And nothing. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. Keep
Simple,
it simple. All right. Steve, what's your fourth worst? So so Steve, we said Amazing Spider-Man 1, and then we said Spider-Verse, then we said Far From Home. Are we going to make this 4 for 4?
Something tells me no, but I'll say it anyway. Spider-Man 3.
Oh, no.
Oh,
yeah.
we're so close, buddy. I'm going to convince you to swap it with something else, but let's go. Go for it.
All right, so Spider-Man 3. It was weird. It was a weird movie. I won't.
Weird in a good
lie to
way.
you.
No.
Like Sandman, I have it on 4K, Andrew. Sandman is cool. No need to
Right.
put Venom in there.
Hey,
No
I liked
need.
it. It was better than Tom Hardy.
Venom was not Eddie Brock, was not Venom. Smashing him in there made no sense to me. I did not like the green skateboarder goblin, right? Like he had
Come
no
on.
word. I don't know why.
That was
And
weird.
it felt very, very contrived. Like I did not like
What's with all this
evil
hate?
Peter Parker. I didn't like him dancing and all that stuff. It was weird to me. Yeah, it
Andrew,
was- all of it
Andrew.
was weird. And at the end of the day, I am probably one of his movie's defenders. I will defend it to people who say it's utter garbage, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it doesn't have problems. And
course it
then when I
doesn't.
think about the movies I enjoy of the Spider-Man, I literally did this. And I explained this to J-Man. I pictured if I had the 9 movies in front of me, and I was told I could only watch one. Which one will I watch? And then I start taking one by one by one.
That's what I did.
Spider-Man 3 made it in this,
Pretty much
this
what
part
I've
of the
done.
list.
Okay, so my next one was not the same as Steve's. My next one is Amazing Spider-Man 2. Basically, the 6 here I can kind of watch whenever. Amazing Spider-Man 2. The reason why the reason why Spider-Man 3 is above Amazing Spider-Man 2 is I'll get to when I get to that. Amazing Spider-Man 2 to Andrew Garfield in the Spider-Man costume, and everything he says and does is awesome. And I always go by the hero first. So if I sit down and watch a movie and it's called Spider-Man, it's called The Amazing Spider-Man, and he's amazing in it. And I like seeing him swing around. I like seeing him help people, and he's talking to kids. I like that movie. The villains and storyline, if they're not that great, I can sometimes give it a pass. This is my explanation for the Christopher Reeve films. Christopher Reeve is Superman. If I see him flying around, I feel that is Superman flying around. I like it. Now, we're not doing a versus. We're not doing a space. We're not doing my space system of grading. We're not
Right.
grading these films. I'm talking about sitting your ass down with popcorn or peanuts or whatever shit you do, potato chips, and you're watching a movie for fun. That's all I'm saying. I'm not critically analyzing Superman 3 versus Superman 2. We're not doing that. I'm talking about, yeah, I'll watch Superman 3, no problem. I like Christopher Reeve. He's cool. Same thing. Andrew Garfield is awesome. But now we are ranking them. So I'm analyzing this movie, but I'm analyzing it against the other movies. So unfortunately, the villains in Amazing Spider-Man 2 just suck. They just suck. I just don't care about them. Gwen Stacy dying was really well done. And I said that wrong. I meant to say I didn't care about Gwen Stacy in the first movie. Andrew, I don't want your thumbs down at me since I have not mentioned the Tobey Maguire movies yet. Right? So they're higher than all of this. So I don't know why you're giving me a thumbs down. It's weird. It's like I'm saying that Tobey Maguire is great and I'm getting thumbs down. It's just weird. I can't sit here and pretend that I can't like something. Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man was awesome. That's it. I don't know what to tell you. He was awesome in that, but his movie wasn't held good for him. The rest of the movie I didn't care about. He didn't, he doesn't help his friend out and all this stuff. And like the villain sucked. That's it. The villain sucked. So I have to put it ahead. I have to put it there.
They had to give him a better reason for not giving the blood. I understood the dramatic thing that they were going for, but they didn't really give a good reason.
What is it?
That's his only hope.
We don't know what it would do to you. It isn't like, let me just give you this guy I care about my radioactive anomaly blood. Like, where does that even make sense to give him the blood? I heard y'all talking about that earlier. Like, it doesn't make sense for him. It makes every bit of sense in all of the world to not just give, like, what is he just going to give him a bucket of his blood? Like,
right.
Like, he doesn't even know why he reacted that way to the spider. He has no clue. Why would he assume, like, oh yeah, that sounds like
he's gonna die anyway.
There's nothing dying anyways. Like, so let me kill you in case, like, he knows people are working on it. He's got a team of like the biggest doctors and medical whatever and Oscorp working on it. Like, let me just. That just sounds.
As of now, the guy's life situation is he's going to die of an incurable disease.
I get he's desperate, not rational. They established that. I never once watched it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, go. No, go. I
was gonna say I never once watched it and even considered that take till I heard it tonight with y'all talking about it. It just seemed like common sense. Like, that seemed like the idea of an irrational, desperate person, because Peter knows what happened to him, why he's the way he is. Where,
I think you've made those connections that the
I don't think I did.
That movie doesn't give you, because as far as I can see, the probability that would happen is maybe he'd get some spider powers or something, like from a blood transfusion. I don't know like what the laws of that world are, but it doesn't seem to me like he's going to get radioactive like his blood and just die or something like that.
Do you remember?
I think there wasn't there's something I'm missing here, right, J-Man? There's like a thing that he does in the movie where he tests it or something.
I don't remember exactly. My thing is, I
remember the Incredible Hulk, because even in comic book movies, we've established, in Marvel movies, we've established a little bit of blood for one person doesn't mean something for another one, because that's how Stan Lee died in Incredible Hulk.
I mean,
I understand. I understand what the movie's doing.
There's a long history of that being a terrible idea.
Right. I just don't think this movie should have even had this. This is what I'm saying. These are these things where people are arguing about it, but it's needless. It's like, okay, you're not going to give it to him. Well, he's the villain. Well, it's almost like they're like, well, we can't have them. We can't do the same relationship we did in the Tobey movies because that's already been done. So let's make up this other fake thing where he's got some disease and now he needs this blood. It's like, why is this in this movie? Like, I don't. And then he's like, no, I'm not giving it to you. Okay, why? Well, because it could hurt you. Okay, well, now I'm a villain. It's like, okay, it's just one dumb thing after another. It's like, don't even have that. It's like the people complaining about things in movies where it's like, remember, somebody wrote this. And my take is, forget about trying to analyze how the movie's doing it. It's like, why is this even here? You guys just messed this whole thing up. It's just dumb. And it's, I don't know, it just felt so dumb to me that I don't even care. It's like, I'm not giving you the blood. Okay, he's not giving it to him. Fine. Why? I don't care. He's just not giving it to him. That's fine. He's a villain now. Cool. It's, I don't know. But Steve, I'm never giving you any blood from me because you're gonna turn into a loser. If I give it to you,
I already am.
I still think the thing stands. If someone's got a terminal disease and they're at the last stages of that terminal disease.
Right.
Does it really
Do
matter what you like? They want something from you that doesn't seem as if it's going to be necessarily like just kill them straight away. Why? I mean, you might as well. I mean, there's
Yeah, so maybe the movie
What
could have
else
done a
do you
better
know, like-
job.
yeah,
that
it could have done a
that
better
just
job
boils
of
down
explaining
to an
that.
eternal debate on ethics and morals and like medical practice. So it's really like a debate that goes to nowhere.
Sure, a
really.
doctor could have that debate with him, but his
And then
best
a doctor
friend.
wouldn't do that. A doctor wouldn't say, "Let me run this." That's high risk practices.
No,
They
but
wouldn't
that's
do
what
that.
I'm
It's
saying.
literally
A best
illegal.
friend is different from a doctor, and his best friend just happens to be a like.
Well, doctors don't do
Yeah,
it
so-
because the potential to harm you. Like
So they could have done. So
He's
here's
a
what they
doctor.
could have done. Here's what they could have. You could have said, Peter, can I have your blood? I'm worried as to what could happen to you if I do that. Let's go see a professional. Then the professional says, no, it's too dangerous, or it could mutate you, or whatever. But the
I
problem
think
is
it
that
was
the
that
movie
weird
didn't
scene,
care.
right? There was just that weird scene of him like backing up. No,
No. Yeah, and it's like that's what I'm saying. The movie doesn't.
it was a
The
bad.
movie doesn't invest in this plot. So why are we investing it? That's what I'm saying. The movie doesn't care. It's like, oh, it's well, no, okay, it's just fake drama. It's like
It's a contrivance.
it's a
That's what
contrivance.
it is.
It's
Yeah.
like you see in well, I know nobody watched Supergirl but me, but like Lena's like, oh, you lied to me. It's like, fuck off. It's like I saved your ass 4,000 times, and then she's crying, and now I'm a villain because you lied to me. You didn't tell me you're Supergirl. Okay, well, you didn't tell me you're a bitch, so you lied to me. Like, it's just like this is like these tired CW. These
Yeah.
tired CW things, right?
J Man, you nailed it. Like he could have just gone to an expert. He could have gone to
Yeah,
or
like-
something. I don't know. Like
This is rubbish. All right,
That-
let's
that
get
does
Mark.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mark.
That just expose
That
him
was
as
funny.
Spider-Man.
That was
Right.
really funny.
Okay, so
No, it
Mark,
wouldn't.
I love trashing Supergirl, but even though I bought all the seasons like an idiot. Okay, so Mark, let's get your worst, your second worst, your third, your fourth, and then your fifth. So then we'll catch up from there.
I was gonna run through them. Holland's second film, then Holland's
Far From
first film,
Okay, so hold on. So yeah, Far From Home,
Homecoming.
Homecoming.
then Amazing Spider-Man 2,
Right.
then Spidey 3,
Right.
and then for the pivot film in the middle there, it's Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse. Okay.
Wow.
So do you want to
Wow.
expand? Is there anything in any of those that you want to address from what because I know you were on pretty
Oh no,
early with
y'all
those.
hit all the points. Like so, it's just mileage at that point. With those back four with Spidey 3, Amazing 2. I just don't think Tom Holland's a good Spider-Man. It's just annoying to me. I think that the whole universe that the MCU created is pretentious, annoying, pestering, dealing with these stupid kids, the dynamic of them, the tropes that they built for them. I think the MCU universe didn't leave enough room for Spider-Man, obviously because of legal rights. So it's stuff that's beyond their control, but it's a situation we're stuck with. So Holland is just not it for me. They didn't even turn him into Spider-Man until the last freaking 10 minutes of the third movie. So he's just not Spider-Man. Nothing about it is Spider-Man. It's irrecognizable other than a name. Amazing Spider-Man 2, y'all nailed it. It was just a rush, bloated film with too many problems. Like whoever was talking about it didn't know what it wanted to be tonally. Nailed it. Spot on. Nailed it. Gwen Stacy dying, I can't not cry every time I watch it. My 3-year-old is named after Gwen Stacy. It's the move. Like I just got chills thinking about that scene. It just beyond me. Spider-Man 3 is one of the most rewatchable dumpster fires I've ever seen in my life because it is just pure fun. It is pure fun. It has all the Spider-Man tropes, feels, and necessitates everything that you need and want from Spider-Man. Who cares if the pacing's off, if there's too many villains, this, that, and the other? It's Spider-Man through and through, and it's unapologetic. Miles Morales, I don't like the
I like this guy.
art. I don't like the art style of Miles Morales. Don't tell me that like I'm epileptic walking out of a film when I wasn't going into it. That doesn't even make sense. It was made for the TikTok generation. I get
Right.
loading it down with other characters because none of these people are proven on their own and that they didn't expect for it to be the success it was. But the biggest thing that I love about it is the nostalgia factor and the fan service to my emotions with Peter dying, the Peter struggling with MJ, which was like a spirited successor to Sam Raimi stuff. And then with Miles coming to his own at the end, I thought that was great. And I think that's where we're at, right?
Yep.
And a better
Okay,
multiverse movie than
so-
No Way Home.
So now you're okay. So we're on our fifth worst. So this is what the middle movie.
Yeah.
The middle movie.
This is the middle movie.
This is when the ones get good.
Now, yeah, okay. So my middle two, I'm like flipping around. I don't know what to do. So I'm last in this order anyway. So I'll see what I feel like. So what was your fifth worst, Mark? What was your middle movie?
Miles Morales.
Miles
Into
Morales,
the
Into the
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse. Okay.
It's my
Sean, what's your middle?
film.
It's gonna be No Way Home. I raved about this when we came out, but like I can't rewatch this movie. There's just the magic is gone. It relies on the surprises that it offers you the first time you see it, but it's way too damn long. I never liked Tom Holland. I never liked his friends. I don't care that he can't talk to them anymore. It hinges on those characters because they're the stars, and it's like I don't care about most of this. I never liked most of the designs and the other movies. So don't come back. It's like I don't really care about this version of Green Goblin. So I mean, like he does a great job with it. Like Willem Dafoe does a great job with it, but like I don't care about that version of him. So it's I find it a tough slog to watch it again. So it's gone way down for me since I saw it in the theater.
Okay. Andrew, what's your middle movie?
So basically, my number 5 basically like is like the in between because the bottom was my bad.
It's the middle one.
All right,
Yeah,
my number
middle
5 is what he said. No Way Home. The reason why, because if you know me, I only saw it because they brought back guys from this universe. And I thought Willem Dafoe. I thought he was great in the original movie, but he knocked out about this how scary he was. He can switch his character like that, and I like. But other than that, everything about the movie is really dumb. Like I didn't care one bit for Anime Down because I never liked that version. I'm more for Rosemary Harris. The final battle was good. I liked seeing all three Spider-Man together, but and the Doctor Strange thing was a little weird, and I disagree with Nerdman. Tobey Maguire, he did act like how he did in his universe because of the reunion scene he had with Otto Octavius because he knew what he went through in Spider-Man 2 and with Flip Marko.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Nerdman, what's your middle movie?
They didn't fight like they were the
Maybe because it's
different
been
universes
years since they
either.
put the costume back on.
No. I'm talking about like the fight choreography as well. I thought they could have done better, like fighting how they did in their different universes as well. Anyway, fifth movie. So I want to make sure of this because this is very important. I believe it's. I'm trying to. I think it's Spider-Man 1. I'm pretty sure it's Spider-Man 1 now. So, for some of the reasons Legions of Comics says, Spider-Man 3 is going to be a little bit higher on my list. So I believe it is. I don't have the list up anymore, but I believe it's Spider-Man 1 now. But yeah, like Spider-Man 1 is great. It really is. But I feel like he didn't really crystallize everything until Spider-Man 2. It's got some bits that
It's the origin story. That's what they were doing.
Sure. I just think it's got some bits that I don't know work that well. Like there's just some middle bits where I'm just a little bit bored in that movie. It's a little bit too Power Rangy at some points as well. I don't know.
Arguments.
Look, I think William Dafoe is fucking fantastic. I do like Tobey Maguire as well. I don't really like the stuff with what's her name?
Mary Jane.
Mary Jane. I don't like her that much as Mary Jane.
I like Kirsten Dunst. There's nothing wrong with her.
I just don't like her that much as the character, and
always hurt my feelings when people use Spider-Man as a diss.
I mean, I've got to at this point I've got to have one lower, and so I'm picking Spider-Man 1. It's not that I've got that many bad things to say about it. It's just to me, I think he improves with the second one a lot, and then the third one I just think is what Legion of Comics said, just pure fun. Like,
well, here's the thing: the first movie I thought was just basically the Stan Lee, Steve Ditko comics ripped off the pages onto the big screen.
Well,
Okay.
Ish.
If you guys disagree, look it up and see the comparisons.
I have some of those books. I think it's a good blend of ultimate and classic. Like they literally meshed the modern with the retro with the Tobey Maguire stuff. They did it great.
The wrestling match.
Yeah. But he doesn't have the web shooters, which is weird, right? That's like that's a thing.
Yeah.
The Macho Man thing is awesome. Macho Man thing is awesome.
All right. Ray Malkin, what is your middle movie?
Spider-Man 2.
What?
No.
Heel turn.
Cancel this man.
God.
Wow.
I just Seth Rollins you.
I gotta get. Okay, I'm giving you. Sorry, Gray. I gotta give you this one. I'm sorry, man. I gotta do it for you.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
All right.
Ow.
I'm looking at this movie like as a Spider-Man fan. It's good. It's great.
Right,
but there's a but.
This movie proves the rule that the second one is always better than the first. And then I don't know. It's
just say it.
Okay, so you got 4 movies that are better than Spider-Man 2, and we're talking about just Spider-Man movies, right? Not Star Wars.
Yes.
Like I agree, Empire Strikes Back original cut is better than Spider-Man.
No, it's a great movie. I mean, it's great. It's just like I'm more attached. I have more sentimental value to the next 3.
Okay, so I'm actually more excited now to hear the Gray Malkin's run. Okay, we're gonna get to.
No, I'm
okay,
worried.
so that's interesting.
I am L.A. Knight.
You are L.A. Knight, man. Oh my God. All right, Steve. Steve, are you awake? Are you? I think Steven is passed out.
How the hell do I follow that?
I don't know.
Middle movie Spider-Man 2. Holy shit! And you want me?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to talk anymore. I just want to hear Gray's next movies. But anyway,
yeah, like what is better than Spider-Man? Okay. So what's your middle movie?
Spider-Man 2.
Not again.
I don't.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the fact that yes, the story's a mess and that the villains are a mess. I don't actually disagree with any of that, but I do agree 100% with what Chris said, which is Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man is awesome.
Yeah,
I really love
you guys are all knocking down my guys here. Like he's like, what am I, chopped liver?
I love his. Andrew, this is the middle movie.
This is the middle movie, man. Dial it back.
Anyhow, I love him as Spider-Man. I love whatever he does as Spider-Man. I love his theme. Everything he does feels like Spider-Man. And Spider-Man's one of those ones. It's very it's very popular in superhero movies to be into the villain, and we've seen that all the way up to the Batman with like everyone dies over the Penguin character, right?
Right.
I didn't necessarily do that. Colin Farrell's a great actor. There's no doubt about it. But I love the heroes. Right. That's why I go to see a superhero movie. I love the heroes, and the better the hero is, the more I'm going to like it.
Right.
Even though it has its warts. And Amazing Spider-Man 2 undeniably has its warts. Yeah. But Andrew Garfield's performance as Spider-Man in this movie is excellent. That's it.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And I mean, it's just that the rest. It's only now that we're talking about all the movies together that we have to come up with some sort of, you know. I don't really hate any of the movies, really.
No.
My middle movie is Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Vulture to me is my favorite Spider-Man villain. Michael Keaton's one of my favorite actors. He's awesome. Everything else is like okay. So this is a weird one. After I just made my big stupid speech about how the hero makes it for me. And then now I'm going to contradict my own thing, but I love Vulture. I don't know. I like Michael Keaton. I thought he was, look, man, he's a bad guy. He's like, I'm in it for myself. He's in it for his family, I guess, but he's like, I want money. He's a bad guy. He's a jerk. And that's it. He doesn't have a personal, thing. It's like, it's sort of personal because the daughter thing, which I didn't even like. I wish they didn't even do that, but at least he's a crook, and they don't have this big sad story about how his whole life was garbage and he had no choice but to turn to crime. It's like he's a bad guy. That's it.
Didn't
And
do
he
it
was just
because
bad.
Tony Stark robbed him.
I liked all, yeah, but I mean, this is as an adult, not like his whole, like an entire, it's like he's a disgruntled employee. He's
Not
a
a
disgruntled
damaged
city
child.
employee, which I'm a disgruntled. I'm one Tony Stark weapon away from becoming the Vulture myself. If I got those wings, oh my god, that would be it. Like I would be the Vulture immediately. So, and when he turned around, he's like, "Listen, kid, I'm gonna kill you." I was like, "Oh shit!"
That was hard. That was hard. That
No,
was
man,
hard.
Vulture. I was like, "Oh shit! Don't mess with fucking the V." Remember the "Don't mess with the S" Superman toys. Don't mess with the
Yes.
S.
Don't
Remember
mess
that?
with the S.
Don't mess with the
Remember how
S.
awkward
Wait,
it was
I got a better
when
idea.
he
Don't
went
mess
to the
with
girl's
the
house
Batman.
and found out with the floor, and they knew each other. Like, oh,
What?
this is
Yeah, no,
awkward.
that,
So
so
wait,
he
I got a
was,
better idea.
J-Man, you
Better
didn't mind that the
Don't
Vulture
mess with
wasn't
Batman.
didn't have his Vulture powers, where he gets younger.
well, he
as
doesn't have
He's not super powered.
he's not a super powered guy. He uses technology. I know it's stolen technology. Look, I came to terms with the villains and the heroes in some cases never really being what they are in the comics.
Okay.
Even the Tobey Maguire thing, he's got
You
organic web
usually
slingers.
say
Oh,
that.
hold on,
You
hold
usually
on.
say that as a
Right.
complaint against a lot of movies. So
It is a complaint.
Like,
It's a complaint in every movie we're talking about, pretty much. So
Yeah.
it's like Sandman is not the killer or whatever, right? So it's like there's a lot. So there's a lot of 1 second. There's a lot of all of those are complaints for all these movies. So you may as well just throw them out the window. It's like I'm going by Vulture was badass. He looked cool. They even gave him the fur around. I wish he had a green leather jacket just so he was more green because green's my favorite color. If you haven't noticed by my streams, but I don't know. Nice. Oh, by the way, Power Rangers I own right there on that shelf. I own every single DVD of every Power Ranger release. Beast Wars does not come out yet, but I own everything up to Beast Wars or Beast
Are you gonna
Morphers.
see the movie?
Beast Morphers. Beast Morphers. But I do have the Morpher from Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I love Power Rangers. So, and I love Super Sentai too. They're great too. Anyway, so that's my middle movie, Homecoming. Look, I don't hate it. It's just, Vulture to me is just so awesome. And Tom Holland's okay. Oh man, I met Jason.
This isn't a toy.
No, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I got a chance to meet Jason David Frank, obviously, before. He's great. I remember I ruined.
He came close by. My kid's big into it. I grew
Awesome.
up. It's just this was life growing up. You know what I
That
mean?
is awesome.
Really
So
was.
I'll say this real quick. I spoiled for my buddy. My buddy to this day, it's been like 20 years or whatever. I spoiled who the White Ranger was. We all knew it was going to be Tommy.
Nope.
And like now in Canada,
it's not.
hold on. In Canada, Power Rangers would air at like 7 a.m. or something. It was weird. Like we get like a 7 a.m. Like it would be like in the evening, but there'd be a 7 a.m. one. So I woke up and watched Power Rangers, and I called my buddy. I was like, "Dude, it's Tommy." He's like, "You fucking spoiled." This was the first spoiler thing I ever heard back, like way back then. And he was all pissed off. He's like, "Oh my God, so you pissed off?" I'm like, dude, relax. It's like we're 20 years old or whatever. It's like, why are you getting upset over this? He's like, "Oh, well, I didn't know who the White Ranger was going to be." I'm like, "Well, it's obviously Tommy." Anyways, that's my fifth favorite. Hey, Blunt, what's going on? Thanks for joining. Okay, so now we're in the top four movies. Okay, so Mark, what's your like a fourth or whatever?
Number 4. That would be Holland's third movie, the most recent one.
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
I think that movie, and I said it before because I do a lot of stuff on my channel with this stuff, and I called it beforehand. I said, if this is just a fan service film, it will not have longevity, and that's all it was, and it doesn't. I watched it in theaters. I teared up numerous times, all over Toby and Andrew. Not shit to do with Tom Holland. Like y'all pointed out, don't care about Aunt May. Like, why would I? This
Right.
Aunt May, like she's just Happy's ex. That's all I know her as.
Yeah.
But the level of awesomeness it was to have Toby and Andrew in there, and to get a little bit of that was just so good that it moved me in such a way, all tied to the quality of Toby's stuff and how much I love the first Amazing Spider-Man. The whole third Holland was only contingent upon those movies I like, which those 3 stand right in front of this. So this was really just bookending my love for number 1, 2, and 3 on my list. It has not shit to do with Tom Holland.
Right. Okay. So we almost have. So I could process of elimination. We know where you're at, and we know where pretty much I'm going to be at in a minute. Sean, what's your fourth?
My fourth is Homecoming, because something has to be number 4. It's like I don't think it's fourth best. I don't think it's great. Something's got to fill that spot. So whatever, man. Look, Vulture's awesome, and the plan is awesome. Other than that, I don't care about any of those characters. So
Right.
and Talking Suit Spider-Man can.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
poo-poo.
the AI suit.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
poo-poo
that
for
suit
Clover.
was bullshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit. All
The
right.
drone and everything.
All right, Andrew, let's hear your number 4. What's it going to be?
My number 4 is a controversial choice, but it's this.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3.
Now, with Spider-Man 3, I think the film is underrated and does not deserve the hate. Sure, it's got flaws, but I think it's a
Of
good
course
end.
it does.
I'm talking. Be quiet.
Oh my God! Whoa!
Where was I? I
Go
don't
ahead.
really deserve the hate. Sure, it's got flaws, but I think it's a good end to the Sam Raimi trilogy. Harry Osborn has a good arc that was building up since the first movie, and they have really good fight scenes, like the one in the sky and in the mansion. And I did the Sandman was even great with his transformation scene. It was all slow, build up with the music. Hell, I even liked. I think Venom was fine for what it was, better than Tom Hardy. And heck, I even like the emo Peter. And the only issue I have with Spider-Man 3 is the whole Uncle Ben with the Sandman. But other than that, the rest of the movie's great.
Okay.
My
All
number
right.
4 is Spider-Man 3.
Nerdman, 4th.
Fourth. So yeah, I think I'm safe to say now. Yeah, Spider-Man 3, which is so not only is it way better than the Tom Holland toy commercials that that people praise so much. It really is just like a lot of fun, and I don't understand because like tonally it's completely in line with the first and second. It has the emotional beats, but it's still completely tonally in line. It's like the X-Men. Like it's
all
to me,
pacing.
yeah. To me, it's like X-Men 3 in a way because I wasn't a big fan of either of the X-Men movies, the first ones, and I'm like X-Men 3 comes along and everyone takes a huge shit on it, and I'm just like, but they're exactly the fucking same. I don't know what you saw in X-Men 1. I mean, X-Men 2 is like a little bit of an improvement, but like X-Men 1 was just as bad as the third one. So I really don't.
I don't like any X-Men movie actually, but anyways.
Yeah, but in any case, I'm just saying like it's the same with these Spider-Man movies, except on the other side where I think they're actually good.
Right.
Where I'm like, yeah, Spider-Man 3. It's not maybe as good as the second one, but I think it's comparable at least to the first one. I think Sandman was a really emotional journey. It gets me misty-eyed every time. If a superhero movie could get me misty-eyed, like it's done its job. Like I actually kind of dug Venom in a small way, maybe because I'm a fan of this actor. I just think he's hilarious. Yeah, Topher Grace.
This Venom was way better than the Tom Hardy one.
Yeah, exactly.
Agreed.
Thank you.
I agree with that statement.
Thank you. Exactly. So, Topher Grace just being Topher Grace. Sure, he wasn't the real Venom or the Venom from the comics, but he's still Topher Grace, and he's entertaining. When he's doing his Topher Grace stick. And yeah, I think the only thing I don't like, and even on rewatch, I watched it recently. Even on rewatch, it makes a little bit more sense. Is that dancing scene in the middle, or the memeing thing? That's the only bit of the movie I don't like, and it's like literally 2 minutes of the movie. It really is. The rest of it is pretty fucking fun, and it's just
why did everyone lose their mind over that?
Spider-Man comic come to life, really.
The Gwen Stacy catch scene in this movie. With the crane that hits the building, like when it just goes silent, and he's jumping, grabbing debris, and jumping off of it through.
Dude,
like
Raimi is on his action. He's on his action shit in this fucking movie. That you remember the one with the wedding ring? That is one of the best Spider-Man action scenes ever, where he's trying to catch his wedding ring in the air.
Fighting
Harry.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing. I'll put it against anything.
I do admit when Harry sacrificed himself to save his friend and he died in his arms, that hit me.
Yeah, as well. There's a few.
Yeah,
bits.
because they built up that relationship. Remember when they used to build up relationships in movies?
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
The
Gray
way
Malkin.
reacted was so raw. You felt it when Harry got stabbed, and like his like just guttural yell of no. When you see it in his eyes, you see his face straining. He's restrained. You literally feel it. You absolutely feel that emotion come through, and that's what's missing out of the MCU. It's just
Agreed.
have that.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, because you
All
know
right.
you know how every movie's gonna end.
Right.
Yeah,
Gray,
you know, no
okay,
one would
Gray
mind.
Malkin. Which of these movies is better than Spider-Man 2 and why?
Number 4. What's your number 4?
I thought we were at number 5.
Nope.
No, we're at number 4.
Number 4. Okay, all right. I'm going with Amazing Spider-Man.
All right, so Amazing Spider-Man 1 is better than Spider-Man 2.
Like it's over here, but like it's so dated. Like you see Joe Maggio, you're like, that dude's like 40 playing a high schooler. And like I don't know. I like Rosemary Harris. I like Marissa Tomei. I like Rosemary Harris. Hey, hey.
Wait, what did
Different
you
world
just say?
forever, okay? A different world forever.
Listen.
It's your opinion, man.
We have to.
Oh, you're allowed your
No,
opinions,
like
man.
I mean, like Willem Dafoe is so good. Like he should have been the Joker. He could play the Joker tomorrow, and I'd buy it.
Right.
But yeah, it's number 4 for me.
Okay, awesome. No, that's cool. Steve, top 4 answers on the board.
I'm going to agree with Mark. It's Spider-Man No Way Home. I agree it's fan service. I agree that it's probably not as rewatchable on second viewings, third viewings, but hell, it put a smile on my face when I saw all 3 Spider-Man actors together. And to see the villains there and to see, Doc Ock back on screen in a different movie than Spider-Man 2. Lena hit it
on
out
the bird saying,
Doc Ock. Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, again, is there problems with MCU related problems? Of course there is. Of course. I'm not going to ignore them. But I'm going off emotion here. I really love seeing all 3 Spider-Men in the same room working on an experiment. That's it. Spider-Man No Way Home.
And they even did the pointing meme.
They did, which I use as my graphic for this. Okay. My 4th favorite is Spider-Man 3. I mean, except for my only complaint as a nitpicker would be the Uncle Ben. But Sandman looks freaking awesome. He's exactly the comic. He's the best looking villain. He's not movie Sandman where they always do movie Vulture and you're like, well, that's not really the Vulture, but it's movie Vulture. Like movie Sandman is Sandman. He's got the striped shirt.
He got the green striped shirt.
And Church kills it in that role.
He's crazy.
Yeah,
he's
Thomas
awesome.
in Church.
Yeah, so he's awesome. I was like, okay, he's pretty damn awesome. And I like the black suit Spider-Man. I like the dancing. I liked all that stuff. I like that he felt confident and strong. And it's like, I think that it made sense. I'll tell you where it didn't, but like at the beginning is great. The costume's not great for Harry. Yeah, I don't like that. But that fight mattered. Like it's one of the few fights that mattered. And I'm like, okay, this really matters. And then when he's confident in the black suit, I'm like, he would act that way. Look, this guy's been a nerd and picked on. Now he's like feeling confident. He's like, yeah, I'm fucking cool now. And it's like, yeah, I'm dancing just like I don't got a care in the world. I can do whatever I want. I don't think that was that bad. Everyone lost their minds over that. Look, Venom, we know was shoehorned in there. And they did the best that they could with it. That's not an excuse for the movie. I have to judge what I watch. I can't judge what was intended to be good later. Like, so that's where, but he looked scary. And it was the story more or less. It's like, yeah, Eddie Brock is tied to Spider-Man. This idea of Venom not being tied to Spider-Man makes no sense because Eddie hates Peter. The symbiote hates Spider-Man. Let's team up. That's the whole damn thing. I know they're not going to have Secret Wars, which I have Secret Wars, whatever. The first
they kind of
in
are
the case.
still in the MCU.
Like, yeah, but I knew they weren't going to do Secret Wars. Even as a kid, when well, I don't know how old we were, but like you're watching, like, yeah, I know this is not going to be Secret Wars. They're not doing that. but they did the best that they kind of could. I don't think it's that bad. And he beat him the way that he beat him with the sound and everything. I'm like,
And they threw a pumpkin bomb out.
yeah, like I don't think this is
the
like a
way
dumpster.
he beat him was a bit weak, but you know.
Well, it is. I mean,
Yeah,
using the
well,
gong and all that, like that's.
Yeah,
that
I
is
know
the
it.
thing.
I know it's from the comics, but
Yeah. So what are you gonna like when it's not from the comics? I'm the guy who's like,
That's-
this isn't from
that's-
the comics.
no, but
So-
that's where it felt shoehorned in. Do you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
it-
Because they didn't
yeah.
give it enough time.
They
For,
didn't give
like,
enough
this is
time.
one of the. This should have been the main villain of the film, and they didn't have
It
enough
should've-
time to really,
Yeah.
you know.
It should have been like the
Go at
fifth
it.
movie or something. It should have been like, you know, maybe
Mm.
at least the fourth, if not the fifth movie, where it's like, here's the big showdown with Venom and have that. But anyways, I still like Spider-Man 3. It's a bit long, okay, whatever. But now movies are 7 hours long, so it's like I can. It's not. It doesn't feel as long as some other movies. So I'm
Did you
a
ever-
Spider-Man 3 apologist.
In fact,
Yeah, me.
If they
I'm
didn't
not
have
an apologist. I'm proud. I'm a proud Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm
3
good with
fan.
it too. I'll take it.
But
In fact,
could
if
you
they didn't
imagine
want Venom-
Raimi having done like Carnage? I would have loved to see
Oh
that
my
shit,
god,
man.
that would have been crazy.
that would-
Have
that
like
would've
some
been
Evil
crazy.
Dead,
That would
Evil
have been
Dead
horrible.
camera angles. and
No,
all.
actually, it would have been Evil Dead. It would have been Evil Dead. Like
No,
Spider-
I know it would have been Evil Dead. You know, Spidey
In fact, if
edition.
they didn't want Venom in Spider-Man 3, they could just have like a post-credit scene where they take that scene at the church where the singing's coming on, and then right when the Venom does, rah, it cuts to the credits.
Sure, you
That
could do
would have
that.
been amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been amazing Spider-Man. All right,
Yeah.
Mark, the top three answers. Here we go. Number 3. What's your third favorite?
Spider-Man 1.
Spider-Man 1. All right.
Oh,
Yep. That's it. All right. Yeah. I mean, there's not really much to say. It's awesome. I
At
mean,
this
it's
point,
awesome.
they're all
Yeah.
three interchangeable, right? This is just mileage. Like Spider-Man 1 just for impression, you know, like it has its faults in like the non-web shooters, but I think I might have already been working at my LCS back then, but I was reading Ultimate Comics. I was aware of what they were doing.
Right.
I like the fact that they brought in the OG 60 Spider-Man element to that. So I understood that completely. It felt quirky, like it was the 60s. It felt wholesome. The Goblin suit took a little while to get used to, but I read the novel before I watched the movie, and it has the deleted scene of Norman on the beach with Harry, ignoring Harry, who's pining for his attention, and he's watching a guy skimboard, you know, where you throw the little board in the
I did
wake,
not see that.
and you run and you jump and slide on it.
Oh,
That's where
cool.
he got the idea. As he's watching this guy skimboard, it's only in the movie adaptation novel. So as he's watching him skimboard, he daydreams off to a guy doing that over a battlefield. And so like I kind of went in with like
This was in a
context
comic book
and
in the
stuff.
movie?
You know how they make
No.
novels, paperback novels for
Yeah.
movies, especially back in the early
Yep.
2000s.
Oh,
and
okay.
before then.
Okay.
If you get Spider-Man, the official novelization of the movie,
I know what you're
and
talking about now.
it has deleted scenes included in it that you can't get anywhere else. It's stuff that's left on the
Even
cutting
show
room
it
floor.
like Peter.
They write those novels when they get a script, and
Yeah,
not everything makes it. Like I've got
Mhm.
the Conan Destroyer novelization, which is
Mhm.
completely different than Conan, even though I love Conan Destroyer and I'm an apologist.
I
but
remember there being a
it's different. Yeah, all the Mortal Kombat, the novelization for Mortal Kombat.
It's awesome.
Oh, Sean, buddy, that was bad ass.
I-
That's a
I
great.
remember
man,
before I
that
saw the
was-
movie, I was like, the book was better.
The book, I mean, too. I love the movie.
Better.
I've got the poster. I was going to put the poster here, but I put Texas. But yeah, it's like I love that novelization. Okay,
Yeah, I thought the first movie was just fantastic.
for sure. Well,
It's
it's
timeless at this point.
in my top 3. Sean, what's your third favorite?
I'm down to the Raimi movies now, and to me, that is the world of Spider-Man. So I love those films. My number 3 is Spider-Man 3.
Right.
And I mean, J-Man, you went through the gamut of this film, so that's basically my opinion as well.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Andrew, your number
Okay.
3 favorite.
My number 3 is like what Legion said. It's the
I've
original
got to
sin.
go.
You want to do yours? Do your top 3. Go for it.
I'll do my top 3 just now. Okay, so top 3 is which ones are left? I don't even know which ones are left. Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man is I think
Number
super
3.
underrated. I think if that was the first ever Spider-Man movie, people would look at that with completely different eyes. I think it came too close to the Raimi trilogy, and that was its problem. If it had a little bit more distance from it, people would be able to appreciate it because it's actually more like comic accurate in some way. Origin of Spider-Man. Then Into the Spider-Verse. I think it's an incredible homage and love letter to the Spider-Man comics in general, while introducing a new character that has obviously it's diverse and speaks to different kind of Spider-Man fans who come from different backgrounds and stuff like that. But I think it does a really good as I said, recontextualizing of the Spider-Man story through somebody else's eyes, and I just think it's just beautiful. I think there's with the uncle and everything that happens, good movie. And last and certainly not least, the best Spider-Man movie and just great film is Spider-Man 2.
Agreed.
I just everything about it gets better every time you watch it.
I agree. Yeah.
So,
All right. All right, Nerd Man, thanks for coming on.
Bye-bye.
No worries.
All right, man. See ya.
Take care.
All right, so let's see.
Andrew was saying
It was
I was gonna say my number 3 is the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man from 2002. This movie I grew up with as a child because this to me was literally Spider-Man from the comics ripped off into the big screen with the origin, the great power comes great responsibility. It still holds up to this day, in my opinion. I don't care what anyone else say. Tobey Maguire is the definitive live-action Spider-Man in my eyes. He really is what I picture when I think of the Spider-Man. A shy, nerdy kid who becomes this confident superhero. And heck,
He's like
when you
25.
excuse me,
The actor was like 25.
who cares? Who the hell cares? He's a high school senior.
Listen, the guy who played
Superboy.
Superboy, the guy who played Superboy in season 2, 3, and 4 was older than any other actor that was ever Superman, including Henry Cavill, Christopher Reeve. The guy who played Superboy in season 2, 3, and 4
Okay, can I
was
continue?
older than the others. Go
I
ahead.
know,
Yeah,
how old
right.
was he? How old was he?
Okay. So like I was saying, Tobey Maguire to me is the definitive live action Spider-Man. I love all this. They have really great memorable action scenes like him against the Green Goblin. Willem Dafoe, the dude really kills it in this role as both Norman Osborn and the Green Goblin. I love Kirsten Dunst and James Franco as Harry Osborn and Mary Jane. I love it's got a great soundtrack. It's a great origin story to the character. And I also love the chemistry between Toby and Willem, like the scene where the Goblin asks him to join him.
Right.
And to me, this film is fantastic. That's my number 3.
Upside down kiss. No one's mentioned the upside down.
And that
kiss.
too.
Yeah, that was cool too.
Amazing.
Yeah,
That scene the whole scene in the alley when he beat the hell out of those dudes for trying to hurt MJ.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your third. Gray, what is your third?
My third, I'm going with Homecoming.
Homecoming.
Oh no!
Hear me out.
All right, let's get that.
Oh, he's a teenager.
The
Who
freeway
cares?
scene was dope. I don't care what anybody says. Like the way when Doc Ock had Spider-Man had Peter upside down, it was just about like they hit that.
Wait.
that's No Way Home, man.
Well,
That's Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
That's No Way Home.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought.
Oh, he said No Way
you said
Home.
Homecoming, man.
Oh,
said
sorry,
Homecoming.
Homecoming was early. That was
Okay,
They
here,
named all these movies the same thing. They
Yeah.
definitely
sorry.
Mark.
sorry,
We need to start the club. Sean and Steve and I have already started this club of why Spider-Man have the worst named hero movies of all time. It's like you should
Right.
join that club. It's like nobody knows what any
Yes.
of them are. Okay, continue, Gray Malkin. So
All
you're
right,
talking
no,
about the
like,
one with the 3 Spider-Man.
the freeway scene was dope.
Yeah.
Seeing like I don't see the other villains how they react
Yeah.
in this in the movie first when Electro was like the energy here feels different. Like I was
Yep.
like I want to explore that. I want to get into it like the entire like it was fan service, but it was to me it was like a mixtape. It gave you all the best parts. You
I
know,
like that.
like it's a nice little smoothie. Like everybody likes a smoothie. Like you throw it
Yeah.
all your favorite bits. Marissa Tomei went out like a soldier. She was ready to knock Goblin's head off.
She went off like a sack.
Died. Yeah, I know. She had that crazy
like a
strength.
Nothing. She accomplished
I
nothing.
forgot to mention earlier.
But
Sorry?
There's something.
Oh, 1 second.
I liked for what it was. Like, I appreciate Toby. I like Andrew, and I think like Tom is cool. Tom is now the ending that I want to see the next stage of his life. I want to see him struggle.
I don't.
Like, did his Aunt May leave him any money? Like, is he already like? Come on.
No, he's got nothing.
He's got nothing.
All right, Andrew, what did you want to say?
To mention, with Uncle Ben, played by Kurt Robinson, when he died and you see Peter sad about it, that scene hit me more than it did with Gwen Stacy or Aunt May from No Way Home.
All right. Okay, so great. That's your third, right?
Yeah.
Steve, what's your third?
Well, I'll say Homecoming, and I'll actually mean Homecoming, not No Way Home.
All right.
Sorry.
Oh no, I gotta give you. Okay.
My blunders. Okay, I admit. What?
Oh.
R.I.P. Dusty.
Great. I thought we were about to do a fist bump, but obviously that went out the window. Anyhow, Homecoming. I love Michael Keaton as the Vulture. I think he could possibly be definitely top 3 villain portrayals for a Spider-Man movie. Yeah, I love the fact that it's a heist. He's a criminal.
Right.
All the movies are, big world-ending things. He's literally a crook. And I've read so many Spider-Man comics where Spider-Man's breaking up a heist or Spider-Man's breaking up an everyday normal crime. Yes, there are the big, items, the big events. But most of what he's doing is as your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh my God.
And Vulture, I don't know when all the criminals became these charitable non-for-profit organizations. Vulture's in it for money, which I love. Other than that, I think the movie is okay. I don't mind the Iron Man thing just because I did read a lot of that in Civil War. And to me, I like that because Spider-Man's big thing is he never has money. So it's kind of like what would happen if Spider-Man had a budget? What would he do?
He gets it from a billion
budget.
And I like that. And I like that about the movie. I mean, I don't love Iron Man in MCU. That's not a secret. I never really liked Iron Man in MCU. But in this particular case, I think it worked.
No, it did not.
I walked out of that movie with a huge smile on my face. I really liked it. I enjoyed the movie, and that's why it's number 3.
All right, yeah. So my number 4 was Spider-Man 3, but I struggled here because I wanted to. I was going to put the Raimi trilogy in the top 3, but then I moved Spider-Man 3 1 down, and I put No Way Home. And everyone knows it's fan service and all the other stuff, but it's fan service, and I'm a fan. It serviced me. I don't know what to tell you. I went to the steakhouse and I ordered a steak. It was fucking beautiful, perfectly cooked, seasoned. And then I walk out of the steakhouse. People are like, that's just a steakhouse, right? It's like, right. That's why I went there, and that's why I ordered a steak. And then everyone's like, yeah, but it's all they could do is steaks, right? That's why I went to the steakhouse to have a steak. And I didn't go to McDonald's. I also like McDonald's. I love Big Macs. I can eat 2 of them, no problem. I love Big Macs. But when I want one, I want one. I wanted a steak. I got a steak. Look, I don't know. I agree. The first act is super Barfaroni. I don't care about him and his friends and all this garbage, right? But look, you got all 3 Spider-Men together chit-chatting with each other and talking. That was great, man. That was all really a lot of fun. What's going on in the private chat? Is everyone making fun of me?
I just say I'm keeping it in check. No, but I'm with you, man. Like, it was great seeing them talk to each other.
It's just talking to each other. That was so cool. And then it had a lot of villains. So look, I don't know what to tell you. It is fan service. I don't think that's necessarily bad because it wasn't done poorly. They came up with a bit of an excuse to get everyone together. I would say Into the Spider-Verse is fan service. It's like, oh, great, look, we have all these other Spider-Man in it. It's like, well, I don't care about any of these Spider-Man. At least in this movie, I cared about each Spider-Man on his own. And when they were together, that was cool. My Spider-Verse problem is Ben Reilly and 2099 are my 2 favorite non-Peter Spider-Mans, and they ain't in this movie. That was my Spider-Verse problem. They're in this. They're in the 2099s in the sequel. And my other problem with that was like everyone hates the Ben Reilly. They hate the Clone Saga. That's all you hear. The Clone Saga. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, so you don't like the original Clone, but you're okay with Spider-Punk, Spider-Gwen, 2099, Noir, and all the other 4,000 Spider-Mans. They're all great, but Ben Reilly's trash. The first time they did it was trash, and then somehow all the other 4,000 Spider-Man, they're great, and I bought the toys and all this shit. I hate that. That pissed me right off. Anyways, that's why. So Spider-Man No Way Home is my third favorite.
Speaking of Ben Reilly, I remember them trying that in the series finale of the 90s animated series. The Scarlet Spider.
Yeah, Scarlet Spider.
He was just a clone of Spider Carnage, where you got the Carnage symbiote.
And people like Carnage and Venom, which are just copies, and there's 4 million symbiotes, and they're okay with that. But for some reason, Ben Reilly gets the shit on. And actually, the Jackal story with him, this is Steve's fault.
Yeah, my fault.
No, it is your fault because Steve's reading all the Spider-Mans from number 1 on. Like he's been reading them all. He's on 300 something, right?
330.
So 330, yeah. So you read the Jackal's like, that was a good story. I was like, I went back and I was like, shit, that was a good story. I like that. Anyways, okay. Top 3. Oh no, top 2 now.
Top 2.
Legion or Mark, what's your number 2? I think I know what it is.
What do you think it is?
I don't think you haven't said Spider-Man 3 yet, right?
Yeah, I did. That was
You said Spider-Man 3? Oh, so wait.
Number 2 is Amazing Spider-Man number 1 with
Amazing Spider-Man number 1. That's when you did.
It's a phenomenal film. It is. The take on Peter is fantastic. I disagree with everyone on this panel about him being a bad Peter Parker. I think that them trying to separate him. Yeah, well, I think them trying to separate. When Chris was talking about he has a friend that will complain about that he's talking about me with that. That when I think that the Peter Parker was fantastic. You couldn't do what you've done before. They've never done what they've done before. Every iteration is different. Right. And what does, like, if you look at who Peter Parker is in the comics on paper, like original Peter Parker, who is he on paper? He's an outsider. He's a nerd. He doesn't have his parents. All the things that Peter Parker is on paper translated to that time era. Spot on. They weren't stupid when they did that. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but they got the assignment correct.
No, they got the assignment correct with this.
Andrew, hold on a second.
They definitely got the assignment correct when they did it. The grounded feel of that film with this is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like they actually applied physics to web slinging for the first time ever with that movie. They did not apply physics in Tobey Maguire. Zero physics. Like that's even a joke in the video games. You literally just swing out of thin air, and you don't swing, you just soar through the air. I love Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, but that is one of the contentions with it. They didn't put that in there. They didn't need to at the time. That special effects wasn't there. It was a groundbreaking film for what they did. They improved on all of that.
I'm not surprised. It's literally on your T-shirt.
With this
Andrew.
Yeah, all of that was improved with Andrew Garfield's with the swinging and everything. Where y'all don't like his costume, I loved that texture to that costume because that wasn't a final form Spider-Man form. We were getting through the steps there. We got the little wrestling thing, the homage to that without treading over it. So they paid proper homage again. But I love the texture to the suit. I love that the design was familiar but fresh. And obviously, watching him make it himself, that was cool. I just thought it was awesome. I thought the Lizard's gimmick was probably the most comic book gimmick you could come up with. I'm going to evolve everyone. He literally took what he was working on and you just run it to its maximum conclusion because he lost his marbles, and that was spot on. The fight scenes were insane. Like Chris pointed out, the whole city coming together like they did in Spider-Man 1, like they did in Spider-Man 2. You had that moment in Andrews. And plus, it was Michael C. Howell that brought them all together. Shout out to the 80s right there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, I just didn't like. I don't like the way the Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 1. I don't know if you caught from the beginning. My big thing is I don't like the costume, and I don't like the Lizard's look either.
Yeah, that's why I pointed out the costume. That's why I do like it. I like that we have that step between the Amazing Spider-Man 2 costume is the most most perfect
one.
costume we've seen on
I
screen.
disagree.
No, Andrew.
Andrew, you're perfectly in your well rights to be wrong. None of us are going to stop you
Yeah,
from being
yeah.
Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is hands down the most comic accurate suit
Accurate
that's ever been made.
Costume.
That's
yeah.
not-
That is
No.
not the most comic accurate.
No, yeah.
Just
Andrew-
grab it, hold a comic next to that, and you'll prove yourself wrong.
No,
Yeah,
I prove
Andrew.
myself right when I
Andrew,
hold a comment next to this.
hold on,
Next to the live action Spider-Man, I think
Andrew.
that's the-
Andrew. Okay, we're talking about a visual. We're talking about like a visual thing. It's like saying this is blue. There's no. This isn't an opinion.
Yeah, this is an opinion. The comic
this is not
accurate
an opinion.
Amazing
This is an
Spider-Man 2
opinion.
is fast.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the exact is the
Yeah,
most
it's the
accurate that we've gotten.
Yeah.
I have yet to read a single comic where Spider-Man has 3D like chromed out webbing on his suit.
Raised
Never,
brain texture on
never
this
has that
one.
happened in the comics.
That's never happened in the comics.
It's never
I-
happened in the comics.
Sorry,
It's
man.
never happened in the comics.
Why aren't
And,
any of you on my side?
and we own
I'm not
and
saying the movie is trash, man. It's just
yeah, it's like we
Yeah,
own.
we're arguing over like the goats right now. We're
Yeah,
arguing
I
over
know.
the two
The
greatest Spider-Man. There's both of these are like 10 out of 10.
There is
films.
only one, and that's
All right.
this guy.
Oh my
We're on
God.
number
Yeah.
2 right now.
Yeah, we're on number 2.
We're on number
Okay.
2 right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And Andrew, and so far on this panel, I'm your boy, and Sean's your boy. The
I'm
Raimi's
sorry,
are
I didn't mean to yell.
the
I'm sorry.
Raimi
I
trilogy.
enjoy it. I hope you
Yeah,
yell.
Yeah, Andrew. The thing is that we grew up on Christopher Reeve Supermans, and like we are fond of the
Look at that with the
Crystalline
Keaton Batman movies.
Fortress of Solitude, but we know that's not the comic accurate one.
Correct.
So
I know
it's
my
like,
history,
I
dude.
prefer that, but I know it's not the comic one, so I can acknowledge that.
Yeah.
He never
General
had
Zod.
silver
This
webbing,
isn't
man.
the comic it's not the comic universe. It's not
General
supposed-
Zod.
Yeah.
General Zod does not look like General Zod from the
No.
movie.
With
We
that
love
movie
movie
red,
General
like,
Zod.
yeah.
General Zod literally dresses like a general
Like a general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with like a beret and all
with a
that.
beret.
Yeah.
Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody. Okay. All right. Sean, number 2.
Number 2 is the first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Look, it's still awesome. I don't like the
Organic.
webbing and all
Why
that
does
stuff.
everyone have a problem with
But-
that?
It's not the comics.
Yeah, it's not the comics, and it,
It
came
made
from
sense for what Sam Raimi was doing. Blame James
it
Cameron.
came from-
He took it from
it
that.
came from James Cameron,
Right.
and then for some reason they took it because they wanted a Sony version of Spider-Man so that they can profit more off of the merchandise, rather than having it look exactly like Marvel, and then Marvel would profit most
Look
of it.
exactly like Marvel. This is fucking Marvel.
No, it's
It's
not.
not.
Andrew,
So
it's not.
anyways, it is
Anyhow.
the world of Spider-Man. J. Jonah Jameson's awesome.
Right.
I love Aunt May in it as well. I love the character interactions. I love Aunt May inviting everyone for dinner, and everyone calls her Aunt May. That's awesome.
That's cool.
Sam
all that
Raimi
stuff is good.
adapted
I
the
get the
comic book
Spider-Man
world and did
feels
the
from
familiar
it, so-
characters more than yours.
It's number
Andrew,
2, and I'm
is-
talking, and I'm done now. All right.
Okay, you're dead now. Hold on. Before Andrew speaks, Andrew, his second favorite movie is Spider-Man 1, which means his first favorite movie is Spider-Man 2, and that's going to be my order and Steve's order probably, which he's already shaking. He said, so all three of us that you're yelling
Doing
over
that.
out of the top 4 Spider-Man movies are the Raimi trilogy and one other. That's literally our
Sorry.
top 4s.
Sorry.
So
So
I don't know
what
what
are
you're
you
arguing
yelling
about
at?
me for. But
Yeah.
I
listen,
told you this was going to happen before we
yeah, I
even
think
started.
I told you this
hold on. Hold on. Andrew did say that. Andrew, I do have that on Twitter. He did say this is going to happen. But we're on your side. But here's the thing. We're not just blinded by what we love. We have to think
Blinded.
as facts too.
Andrew, what poster is that behind you?
Amazing Spider-Man number 1.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
what is
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Okay, before- all right, that's it. I'm leaving.
Okay, hold on. I got a good one. I got to go in for that.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
Oh,
I'm gonna put a put there.
This man's
Okay,
arguing
Andrew.
with me and he's rocking the poster of my movie choice.
Yeah, that's what's going on here.
Got it, Legion.
You're a traitor. You're the Toby traitor.
Hey, you can mail me that
Traitor.
poster. It's cool. I'll put it with my other ones.
Yeah, I don't look. Yeah, that's just an aesthetics thing, and we can't. You like the
argue
color, like that's the only like I can't.
You
You know,
can't
that's
argue it. It's
can't
a
argue
visual thing. It's like
it's a
saying,
visual thing,
yeah, it is what it is.
All
right?
these
And even though
movies
Amazing
are great.
Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2 are on my lower half, but I have to agree that Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, especially in part 2 with the full proper costume, is
It's
awesome. I can't just say it sucks because I don't like the rest of the movie. It's not fair to the movie.
The Times Square scene in the second one, when he's down to one web shooter, and
That's
he's
cool.
using his actual scientific wits to science the shit out of that scene, and like
That was wicked.
hyper spider sense timing and everything, and the music plays, and then it cuts to him wearing the firefighter's hat and everything. Like, dude, this
That's
is
awesome.
Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man. I agree. It is. Okay, Andrew.
In Times Square, and he's like confused, and he's trying to talk. He's like, "No, you and I, Max. It's you and me, man." So I'm
I
like,
love that.
That is Spider-Man.
It is Spider-Man. I don't know what these people are talking about.
That is Spider-Man. That is literally Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I don't know why they did Jamie Foxx dirty with the whole
I'm back.
weird
All right.
Mac thing.
Well, we just said how Toby was great for the last 5 minutes. You missed it all. Okay,
of course you
Andrew,
did.
what's your second favorite movie? What's your second favorite?
My second favorite is Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay. Hey, that's not even your boy, Toby.
Peter Parker, comic accurate Toby Maguire number 2.
Dude,
You all suck, you know that?
yeah, we do. What
Oh my
happened? You
God.
let us down. You let us down, man.
What
Okay,
a
so
curveball.
Spider-Verse.
You
So how
think
come you like
I let you
Spider-Verse?
down? All of you let me down.
No, I didn't let you down. Toby Maguire is in my top 4 Spider-Man movies.
There are 3 Tobey Maguire movies. Why are they not your top 3?
Oh, just you wait for my
Yeah.
number 1, dude.
So hold on a second. My top 4 is the 3 Tobey Maguires and the Tobey Maguire guest appearance. so Tobey
Oh my
Maguire's in
God.
the top 4
Are you
movies.
gonna keep torturing me like
This is
this?
not-
Or am I
I'm
gonna
the
leave?
champion. I'm thinking Sean, Steve, and I are the champions. And
This is
we
not
got-
even remotely
I will leave
imaginable.
if you guys don't stop.
Okay, Andrew, go ahead.
Go
Spider-Man,
ahead,
go for it. That's your
Alright,
second favorite. Go for it.
You know what? I'm not gonna tell you because you guys have been torturing me long enough.
Oh my gosh.
Spider-Man, see you
Oh my
later.
gosh.
You can
Come on,
take it,
Andrew.
You can't take it. Come on.
He's cool. Okay, we'll come back to him. Let's grade back. What's your second favorite? We'll come back to we'll come back.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man number 1, right?
Okay, hear me out. Also, one thing I didn't like about the Raimi movies.
If you said one thing, I swear to God.
Peter Parker wasn't talking shit.
Oh my gosh.
No, okay, come on. You're gonna tell me that one scene where he comes out, he's like, "Are you a cop? Do I look like a cop? Do I?"
I mean it.
seriously,
Can you
I'm
shut
all-
the hell up?
He was talking bad trash. I love that.
Right.
I will leave.
Like that's something Tobey Maguire did. They didn't get it. They didn't. They had a little bit in Spider-Man 1, but not.
Right.
But not.
That's
a
not
lot.
the
I like-
one important thing.
No, it's what I like.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, what gets me off.
Yep.
Okay, now you're
Like-
disgusting.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right, Steve, what's your number 2? Spider-Man 1.
Drama happened in a Spider-Man ranking. Anyhow, Spider-Man 1.
Yeah.
It is a terrific film. The only criticism I have against it is I personally don't love the Green Goblin costume,
I agree with you.
but everything else is awesome. I enjoy it from minute 1 to the end. It does feel like Spider-Man. They get all the big moments in there. You know, it does feel like the comic come to life in the best cinematic version you can get.
Right.
There's
Gray. I mean it.
there's not absolutely I have, other than what I said about the Green Goblin costume, I have zero complaints about this movie. It is outstanding, terrific, whatever you want to say. I remember when J-Man and Sean saw it first, and J-Man phoned me up after he saw it, and he's like, "We got Spider-Man."
Yeah.
And I watched it, and I'm like, "Yeah, we did."
Yeah. It's and that's my number. Hey, Phantom, what's going on, man? Spider-Man organic webbing, I agree. So nerd nitpick. So nerd nitpick would be or organic web shooters. However, I got over it because the movie was good. I also don't like these silver. The costume is weird because of the silver webbing. It's just
now
weird
you're
to me.
mocking the costume.
And I understand that. And like Andrew, and the thing is that we know that it's not comic accurate because part of the legalities of it was to make it not exactly the comics, to differentiate
not
it
the
enough
truth. I
so
have
that
read-
they
I have
could
listened
so that
to the
they can
interviews.
sell
He wanted to
product.
make
Sony sells product with silver webbing Spider-Man, that's a Sony.
Okay, for your information, buddy, I have listened
And for the black and
closely and
when he's got the
precisely
black web, I'm
what
just
he
going
wanted to do.
to
And he wanted to
when he
make
has
it
the black web.
exactly like how it was.
So you don't control the volume here, right? So are you good? I just told you Spider-Man 1 is my second favorite and Spider-Man 2 is my favorite by process of elimination. So I don't know why you're getting upset. But yeah, all that aside, I don't like the Green Goblin. I got over it. I'm like, I guess this is gonna be Green Goblin. You know, it's not like I wasn't like this is so bad. I'm like, okay, it's a bit different. Man, that movie's awesome. It still holds up for me. I like all of it. I like Aunt May. I like the world that they've created. They bypassed Betty. They bypassed Gwen. I understand. They just want to get to just have MJ be the girl that he's chasing. I get it. They did movie things, but they're movie things that every movie does. So if I faulted in this movie, I have to fault every movie there is, because there's going to, like Watchmen, which is a great movie. They changed it a little bit in the ending. So what am I supposed to do? Like they can't, you know what I mean? Not everything's going to be exact. It's just not going to work out that way, right? So we got as best as Spider-Man as we could get. So there you go. That's Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 1 is my second favorite Spider-Man movie. Mark, what is your first favorite Spider-Man movie?
Hey,
Spider-Man,
right?
I thought you said you're gonna.
He has to do his number 2. Remember,
what's your number 2, buddy? It's just Spider-Verse.
He didn't read his description.
I'm gonna say my number 2, but you guys don't yell at me again.
Okay, we're not gonna yell at you. Go.
I said it was my number 2 was Into the Spider-Verse. The reason why is because it was a movie I did not see coming. Everything about this movie I thought was amazing. The story, the action, the characters like Miles, Peter Parker was a good mentor to Miles, and I like that the great message it shows that anyone can wear the mask, and what makes you different is what makes you Spider-Man.
Okay. All right, so there you go. That's fair.
Very heartfelt.
All right, Legion, first favorite.
Get killed in the street, by the way.
What was that?
I said that's why copycat heroes end up getting killed in the street, by the way. I think Batman established in the Dark Knight that not anybody can wear the cowl.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Skill
It
makes you
doesn't mean
different.
for everything.
Skill makes you different.
All right, number one favorite Spider-Man
is Spider-Man 2, the extended cut specifically. And if there was a longer version of it, it would be that cut, because that movie is flawless in every sense of the word. I respect full-heartedly that Doc Ock had to die at the end, because this is not a comic book. This is a film trilogy with a planned length to the whole totality of it, meaning that some people get to die, just like in the comic books. Some villains die, and then later down the road they'll write them back in. But it's okay for Two-Face to die in the Dark Knight trilogy. It's okay for Doc Ock to die in this, because this isn't a movie series that goes ad infinitum. This is concrete length. So to give it the proper weight and depth, you have to have people like Doc Ock die. You have to have a redeeming quality villain in this one, because you had a bastard in Green Goblin in the first one. Like his gimmick, again, it was kind of like the coolness that we had with the Lizard. It was a comic book scheme. He was out to do something. It backfired in a lab, and his twisted brain's trying to run it to its ultimate conclusion. The dynamic with Peter and MJ, holy shit. The end of that movie, when she sees him for the first time without the mask, and he catches that big thing, and she's just looking at him, and what does he say? Hey,
that was all. Yeah.
Lost my shit. Like, this is amazing. Every bit of it. To him holding the train, that train scene, the fight.
That was awesome.
It looks real if you watch it today, and Disney can't do shit to make anything look better than a animated cartoon from the 90s. Like, it's mind-blowing, the level of special effects, time, effort, and energy, the little details of the webbing pulling and breaking off of buildings, everything about this movie, the dynamic with Harry and Peter, the tension that we know something that Harry doesn't know with what happened to his dad and everything, the big kicker at the end with Harry finding his dad stuff, everything about this movie was perfect.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this will be short. Sean, it's part 2. You have anything to add?
No, I mean, everyone agrees that part 2, or most people agree part 2 is the best one. I love the speech with Aunt May. That really sums up that really encapsulates the movie. So yeah, everything about it I love revisiting it. It's
Yeah.
got a lot of rewatchability to it, so it's the best one.
Yeah. Andrew, Spider-Man 2, do you agree? Is that the best one? Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, because this movie is the greatest. Is one of the greatest Spider-Man and one of the greatest comic book movies and one of the greatest sequels of all time.
I agree on all of those points.
Except
gonna
for
do?
the
movie-
costume not being comic accurate, it's damn near perfect.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Stop with the costume already.
I'm just pulling your leg.
Okay, where was I? This movie did something that no other later Spider-Man movies, including Andrew, didn't do, and that's actually show Peter struggling with his personal life and being a superhero. And you can definitely see how life is totally shit on him, like with the party, the pizza job, and again, Mary Jane. That shows that Spider-Man that shows why he's relatable, because he can't always get what he wants. And even recreates the famous comic book cover scene, Spider-Man No More. And
Issue 50.
Yeah, that was cool.
what?
It's first appearance of the Kingpin, that book is.
Issue 50.
Yeah.
Okay, and also, like he said, Alfred Molina, one of the greatest comic book villains, because you can sympathize with him because of him losing his wife, his job, and with the arms controlling him. He gives us some of the greatest action scenes of all time, like the train fight, and you can literally have him like trying to sacrifice his life to save the city, and he really shows that the city of New York is behind them when he gives them his mask back and says, "Don't worry, we won't tell anyone." And that shows, and all that, and everything about this movie is fantastic, and that shows that you can only do it once. You can't replicate it twice.
Okay, so you like Spider-Man 2.
All right.
Alrighty.
So
Greg
great.
Malkin, what is your favorite? I've completely lost track of your
I
list
know
because
what
it's so
it is.
bonkers.
Because I've been keeping track, and he did tell us the thing. It's across the spider.
I did.
Oh, Spider-Verse.
It's
Oh.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Right.
Okay. Better story. The fact that Miles isn't really part of that Spider-Man timeline thing. That's really cool. I mean, yeah, it would have been nice if he had his own movie.
Oh yeah,
But
that
it
too.
was cool. Like, also, yeah, the new Doc Ock. She was so funny. Come on, Catherine Hahn is great.
Oh man, I bloody despise that character in that movie.
I know she's one of those characters you hate.
No, not in a good way. I hate it.
No,
I
no,
hate
not
it.
in a good way.
Not in a good way. I was like, this character sucks.
Anyhow, continue, Greg.
It's been even great.
We're
This
not
is what
gonna
happens when you
agree.
let X-Men people.
We're not going to agree with you, Gray, but say your piece.
Okay, all right. Also, you got some really great visuals, like that. That one part where he started to really get his power. Like he finally got like a grasp on his powers, and he jumps off that building, and that the visual. Put it on the show the tape. No tape. Okay.
No, I don't have. The only Spider-Man swing. The only Spider-Man swinging I have is the real Spider-Man swinging, which is this.
Just for the
one.
record, it's pretty easy to get cool visuals when it's a fucking cartoon.
Yeah,
of
that's
course.
true.
And I think that made it better because, like,
What
you know how
the-
expensive this would have been. Clobbering Times, we got problems. I'm not because you're with the Fantastic Four.
You're going to have problems with me the same because I agree with him. But anyhow, go ahead.
Hey, Claudia.
Fighting MFers. And also on a personal level, it was nice to see a black Spider-Man.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, with other people assisting him
Yeah.
to make sure that his movie is.
Hey,
is
hey,
like
Are
some-
you
not
referring
movie.
to Miles or
Yeah,
Spider-Man
the team
Noir?
would help him out. And then they turned on him at the end. Yeah, forgot about that part. He rose
Yeah,
up
because
against
it's very,
white
very
hand.
forgettable. You are correct. It's very forgettable.
Yeah, we
All
forgot.
right.
Yeah, I already forgot about it.
I mean, yeah. Okay. Well, we got two Spider-Verse fans. That's good. I mean, it is what it is. I just for some reason I just couldn't. I watched the movie. I'm like, I can't see what's going on. It's so jerky. And then I'm like, I don't really care about anything that's going on at all. And I walked away saying Spider-Man Noir looks cool. That's my review.
You know what really carries that movie for me, and I think it's like one of those emotional soul ties. Is that came out after Stan? Like that came out right after Stan. And
Oh,
Stan,
yeah,
Stan's
yeah.
in there giving that kid the message that he needed. And then at the end of it, man, like it gets me my hair standing up just thinking about his glasses. They put his
Right.
glasses there.
Yeah.
So like that's like that movie is not that's like such a sign of that man's legacy because Miles is a legacy character and he's leaving behind a universe inside of a universe that was like really came from this man who's like affected every single one of us on this panel. You know, like that was just such a huge deal. And I'm scared for the second movie and the third one because there's no way in shit that it can bring what that first one brought. That was a shooting star.
Well,
Right.
we'll see.
Very well put. Lee.
All right.
Very well put, my friend.
All right. Well, okay, Steve, what's your? Well, we know it's Spider-Man 2. Anything
Spider-Man
to add?
2.
Leibowitz. Stan Leibowitz.
Clobbering Times is the mega expert of all of us by far on all comic books. He's a Jack Kirby and Stan
really?
and a Steve Ditko guy, not a Stan Lee. He's more like
Oh my
Ditko
god! Oh my god! Clobbering Time is doing that.
The whole thing.
What Clobbering Time?
We're not getting into Stan versus Jack.
No,
because
that'll be another 4 hours. Yeah.
No, we can't do that. We can't do that, please.
All I'll say is what Clobbering Time to say about the whole Peter Parker is the one Spider-Man. That's what all those weird haters and grids are saying that anybody can be Spider-Man.
No, I don't like that anyone can be Spider-Man, but that's
I
a
don't
different.
like that millennial
It's like saying
approach
Terry
of like,
McGinnis can't be Batman.
you
I don't like
gotta
that
work
either.
at things. It's like you gotta earn stuff. You can't
You
just
gotta
like
earn-
be a thing.
Remember when
Yeah.
Batwoman in the
And here's
movie
the
in the
thing,
show
the
put on the
Flash
costume and
has
became
different names.
Batwoman? It's like, oh,
Art
okay.
Allen, Wally West. Barry
All right,
Allen,
Steve.
Garrett.
Anything to add for number 2?
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 is not just a great comic book movie, it's a great movie. It's probably one of my top 50 all time.
Yeah, it's
One
a
of
great
my
movie.
top 50. It transcends whatever we've been talking about the last 2.5 hours. It is a genius film. Aunt May's speech is one of the best speeches in film history. I rank it up
that
to
was awesome.
Rocky Balboa in Rocky Balboa and Rocky Balboa.
I believe there's
about how
a-
hard
Rocky 6. Just call it Rocky 6.
Rocky
Nobody calls it that dumb title.
And Charlie Chaplin at the end of The Great Dictator is probably the 3 best movie speeches of all time.
What about Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and the whole filibuster? That was good.
That's good, but like it's a little long.
Wow, bro! Wow.
Anyhow,
That's awesome.
But that's
It's a little long.
Really?
Doc Ock, I agree. I don't mind him dying because he's died a million times in the comics and came back a
He
million
literally
times. That doesn't
became a
bother me.
superior Spider-Man in Peter Parker's body.
As Joe said, it feels like the most Raimi movie. Like when Doc Ock is getting put together,
that's awesome.
sequence is
And
right
kills all the
on
hospital
the
workers.
movie. There's absolutely nothing for me to complain about in this movie whatsoever.
Comic accurate costume.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, no.
okay. But that's like
I'm gonna have to
0.01
rewatch
for me.
Spider-Man 2.
Because
Yeah,
I've given up
so-
It's been
to
a long time.
And so obviously Spider-Man 2 is my favorite. And because we addressed the web shooters, no web shooters and the silver thing in part 1, that was already in part 1, so we already knew that going into part 2. So going into part 2, because we've already know that, okay, look, we're stuck with these organic web shooters. That's just what it is.
Yep.
We're stuck with this raised webbing costume. That's what it is now.
This in the
So
costume.
now we don't have to think about it. We're like, okay, now let's just watch the movie and we'll just get into
Can
it.
we take real quick? Can we point out how nice it is to have consistency in a costume through 3 films? Every other superhero movie, you get a costume, they're like, fuck it, we'll change it in the next one. We'll
know, I
change
hate
it in the next one. Like, bro, like
Yeah, Batman did that. Yeah.
it's not underwear, it's a costume.
Right. Oh, do you change your underwear?
Owen, I almost forgot.
I've been wearing the
That's
same one.
yeah.
Another good thing Spider-Man 2 does is that it builds upon the world, expands upon the world and character arcs that were set up in the original movie.
Sure, yeah. Like the Raimi trilogy is almost as close to a proper like series of movies you can get, where all these other things, not counting like let's say Star Wars trilogy, but all the other ones, anytime there's like a bunch of movies, usually by like 3 or 2, part 2, you start to see things falling apart, and then 3 just kind of completely always falls apart, or they change directors, or they have something else. Like it's like to have Sam Raimi be there for all 3. You got the same guys returning, the same costumes there. they're following through, like, you know, with
Same
Harry,
storyline.
yeah, like they follow through everything. It's still like a proper, at least it's a proper trilogy. Like our Garfield, you know, our buddy Garfield didn't get it. What can you do? You know, it just wasn't there. Tom Holland's is a bit of a mess because it's all over the place. They did salvage it for the fan service part of the third movie. Now the fourth
It's like
movie,
watching that last Star Wars movie.
you're right, that's a disaster.
Yeah,
They try to fix all this stuff, and it's like, but now you've just
Ooh,
you
better
didn't,
than X-Men?
you didn't fix it. Firstly, in that, I don't want to do Star Wars. We did 2 hours and 34 minutes with no Star. Oh no, I did mention Empire Strikes Back earlier, but we did 2 hours and 30 minutes without taking a hype on getting angry about Star Wars. But like, it's like, yeah, that third movie. Oh, we have 3 hours to try to fix this mess. It's like, yeah, that's not fixable. And then you not only did you not fix it, you just made things even more confusing and or worse. So what was in the private chat that I missed? A private
He
joke.
said the Spider-Man movies are better than the X-Men movies.
Oh, of course they are. That's for sure.
That's
true. It's true. That's true.
He's saying this.
And that, listen, my God, that's me, Cyclops and Sentinel.
Right.
8 hours.
I will give
We're
the
both
X-Men
saying
thing
this.
one
We're
thing.
both X-Men guys.
We're X-Men people, and we were saying it.
But here's the thing. I will give the X-Men movies one credit. They gave us Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, we had Sam Raimi doing Spider-Man for 3 movies, and then
That's
the
killer.
second one is obviously the best. It was the
Yeah.
most Raimi. That's my own personal opinion. I always Spider-Man 2 has been
I
the
think that's
Raimi.
great. No, that's
Oh, yeah, right.
They actually pointed out. I thought that was a great idea that they pointed that out, and then they kept it consistent from 2 to 3.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
here's
got
the
the
thing.
same.
I like the Batman Begins costume.
Yeah, dude, the Nolan trilogy is phenomenal. Like people
Well-
can pretend to diss on it. That is a phenomenal trilogy.
I think
Yeah,
Batman
yeah,
Begins is better than Dark Knight.
I'm not a fan of that trilogy, really. It's just like I'm okay with it as the movies, and I've seen them all many. I saw Batman Begins 3 times in the theater.
And you bought all the stuff, and you have
all
the
the stuff
underwear,
and
and you have the
One thing
toys.
me and J-Man will agree on.
But so me not liking stuff is other people's loving stuff in some cases. I'm just like I wanted more Batman things or whatever. But anyways, that's a whole different topic. But I'm not angry at them. Like I don't like hate them or anything, obviously, because I wouldn't have. It's not Eternals or She-Hulk.
Now you're just naming dumpster fires.
Those are bad.
Like the current MCU is just a shit sandwich.
Yeah.
MCU is poops. I do like Doctor Strange too, but that's Sam Raimi, so yay.
Doctor Strange 2 is a shit sandwich too. I don't think
No.
Raimi like had an impossible task. He was a late addition to that movie, and it's a mess.
Yeah, I still love Doctor Strange 2. We can do a stream on the defense. I'll be the defense attorney for Doctor Strange 2, but everything else is crap.
Your client's going to
Spider-Man
prison.
movies- Sorry.
I said your client's going to prison.
No wait. No wait. I've got.
Not the lawyer.
I got. What's the guy's name from Sean? What's the Chewbacca defense? What's the guy's name?
Oh,
that
Johnny
was the-
Cochran.
From
I got
South
Johnny
Carolina.
Cochran, baby. I got the
Yeah.
Chewbacca defense.
South
Doesn't make
Carolina.
sense. The Chewbacca doesn't make sense that you know. Well, there you go. That's it. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, guys, we're gonna end off there. We went for 2 hours.
It's weird.
I told Chris this would be. Well, Chris was like, "Is this going to be 1 hour?" I was like, "I don't think it will be." I said it'll probably be 2 hours, and I was like, I lied on that. But I didn't think we were gonna like. We kind of came together in the end here, like But like the first part was like immediately out of the gate, everyone's pissed off with each other.
Oh, I gotta go back and watch. I missed the first couple of minutes. I gotta go check.
Like
that.
right away, Sean's like, "Into the Spider-Verse is the worst movie." We're like, "That's it." Everyone lost their minds. And then-
I was
John.
Yeah. I was saying it was the second worst movie. I don't know why. And then Gray is saying it's better than Spider-Man 2. So I don't know what he's drinking. This is insane.
I'm
I
glad
do
that-
it, Angel Dustin. You know it.
I'm glad that collectively, like all of these people from different backgrounds, different walks of life, can come together like butt cheeks and acknowledge Spider-Man 2 is the GOAT and the costume's not comic accurate.
I have to tell you.
Yeah.
I agree. Spider-Man 2 is the best. Well, look, like you can't argue with the facts. It's like
Fuck facts.
It's still better than every
We're
single
not
one.
gonna act like
Tom Holland.
Spider-Man
World
2
being
has some
around.
of the best.
Yeah, I don't like
comedic
the Tom
Spider-Man
Holland,
parts of all time.
I really don't like, even though I ranked Homecoming as my middle movie, I don't like this talking suit thing. I don't get
I
what
don't
that
like the
is.
design. I don't
Yeah,
like
the
the
whole
little
stupid Karen thing.
Yeah, some
Mark-
sexy voice or
Wait,
whatever.
we didn't get Mark's thoughts on the very final scene in No Way Home where he has the more bright and red. What did you think of
It
that?
was made out of the same material that Andrew Garfield wore. It was too dark to get a good clear shot. You can find some images online. It was too short lived. Who knows what it actually
So you
looks like?
can't tell.
Yeah, who actually knows? Like no one actually knows. Like he was
Yeah, it
going
was a
around in
bit
the middle of the night with lights flying everywhere and it's fucking snowing and he's like
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you didn't get a
Actually,
good a good view of it,
yeah,
right?
I mean like it can look good. Why it looked metallic almost. Y'all no one else noticed how shiny he was?
It did
Right.
seem
Yeah, I
metallic.
didn't like that.
I don't
It
know
looked like one
why.
of those like weird sex fetish suits where you inflate it later.
Well,
And Steven knows for some reason what I'm talking about.
yeah, I'm like,
I don't have several of them.
Just put a straw in his mouth so he doesn't die.
Okay. I'll give. Where's my? Here, I'll give you a V8 for that one.
Hell yeah. Keep the mind sharp.
We don't see where the V8 goes, so I cut it off before there. Anyway, all right. Well, this was pretty good. I don't know. Is there any suggestions for anything else? Like, I mean, if we
Just show in the comments, say rate the
Oh.
cartoons.
shit, that would be tough.
The
There's so
MTV
many,
series
though.
for the win.
Yeah.
So and I even though I own whatever you can own like officially,
Yeah.
I haven't watched all of them enough. Like to me, I'm just gonna
I've
say the
watched most of
60s.
them.
I'm just gonna say the 90s.
Yeah, and I would say 90s is number 2. So
Are you going with
no.
Amazing, Are you going with
I mean-
Amazing Friends for number 1?
I'm sorry, Amazing. I'm gonna
No.
say no. Sorry,
Actually,
Amazing
fine.
Friends is also cool, and the one and the cartoon that came out before Amazing Friends,
Yeah.
which was the same.
It's the same at the
Spider-Man.
same time.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
No, not that one. That's the 60s.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite. But then
They made an 80s solo one and Amazing Friends was the NBC Saturday morning cartoon, and the solo one was the syndicated cartoon.
right now, that solo one was pretty cool
It
too.
was good. Yeah, but
That's
they
a good
used
one.
Doctor Doom a little too much.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
because
he's even
Star
in
Wars
the
is good. Yeah.
right, and that's fine. But all of
Yeah.
those cartoons are good, and the '90s one is good too, actually. So Spider-Man's had a pretty good.
They really exploded with the because you had Unlimited after that, and then you had like
Right.
50,000 ones once Disney picked it up.
Spectacular.
The 90s one is where he exploded on the toy scene and in pop
Yes.
culture. Because I think I'm pretty sure the movie was made because of the popularity of that cartoon.
Well,
And
no,
he
actually.
never let he
X-Men-
never what I know
X-Men
they're
was
trying to
the
make
same.
a movie, but like the thing was that like it really capitalized on that. And I know, like, I mean, we're all comic fans. We wanted to see one anyways,
Right.
but it never left the toy shelves after that '90s cartoon either. So
Awesome. All right, guys. Okay, I think we're gonna end off there because we're getting pretty late here, and I gotta get going. I'm gonna be going. I'm gonna be checking out Clobbering Time's stream in 15 minutes. He's doing Star Trek, Deep Space Nine. As we all know, is every episode's 10 out of 10. Even if people don't say, even the bad ones are 10 out of 10. That's my review of Deep Space Nine.
I like your objectivity.
Sorry.
I like your objectivity.
Yeah, it goes out the window when it's Deep Space Nine.
I apologize if I kinda
Voyager is
lost it.
better.
No, you're good, Andrew.
Oh,
you
geez.
did warn me beforehand. Mark didn't get the warning.
I don't
earlier.
need a warning. I always come in hot.
Yeah. So look, everybody's good here. We're not like
Joker, I'll chase you to the ends of the earth.
yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming in, and everyone in the chat
Thank
for
you,
watching.
Adam.
That's awesome. Everyone's links are in the description, and I put everyone's links throughout the chat, so Legion as well is in there. But the next thing is going to be, when is the next thing? Sean probably knows better than me. I think Monday we're doing Legion of Superheroes' first appearance in Adventure Comics 247.
Right.
Clobbering Times is going to join me for that, and I want to make that a monthly thing because we do Earth B, the Brave and the Bold Earth B stuff. We do that on his channel, so we're going to do Legion of Superheroes on here. Sean, you're coming to that. Steve and I are doing the WWE stream. Is it Tuesday? We're doing that. Wednesday. We're doing it Wednesday. See, my guests know better than me. And then next Friday we're doing Ator, the Flying Eagle, versus Hawk the Slayer, 2 80s fantasy movies. That's all part of the 80s fantasy versus tournament, which is like we've already have Barbarians won in the first round, Conquest won in the second round. I'm so happy that won. And I've watched it like 5 times already since we're gonna see who's gonna win this time. So that is it, guys. All right, thank you guys. Take care.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.